Mets baseball live on the WB11.
Shea Stadium in New York, and WB11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball as tonight the Mets and the Yankees go at it. Our starting pitchers for tonight's game: Andy Pettitte on the mound for the Yankees, and Steve Trachsel makes the start for the New York Mets. It is a rainy night. It has been a rainy day here in New York, and some question whether this game would get started on time. But right now, even fallen today, fans still coming, many still coming to the ballpark. I'm sure many thinking this thing, one, wasn't going to be played, or two, wouldn't start on time.
Or possibly a little bit of traffic left over from the U.S. Open that's being played up the street.
Steve Trachsel took the warm-ups at the appropriate start time. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Yankees, brought to you by Budweiser. Joe Torre has Alfonso Soriano, Dereck Jeter, Jason Giambi, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, former Met Robin Ventura, John Vanderwall, Shane Spencer, and Andy Pettitte, the starters.
And the starter, Gary, Steve Trachsel for the Mets. His 14 starts, 6 with an earned run average right at 4. A ball club that has been hitting a lot of home runs. Trachsel this year, you see 75 innings pitched, 78 hits, and 35 walks. He has given up 6 home runs. He is a pitcher that can give up a lot of home runs. It's not an evening for home runs because of the weather, but we will see what happens, certainly.
And our defense for the New York Mets is Daniel in left field, Payton in center, Burnett in right, Alfonso at third base, Ordonez at short, Alomar at second, Vaughn at first, and Piazza doing the catching.
And it's brought to you by your Tri-State Ford Defense. There is Steve Trachsel ready to go.
Steve Trachsel is a very deliberate pitcher. Has a very compact motion, very controlled, right over the top. He gets a splitter and his breaking ball over, and he can be very tough. He can get hurt if he leaves the fastball up and out over the plate. But you could hang that on pretty much any pitcher that walks out there to that mound, with the exception of the few that throw that 95-mile-an-hour plus. There's Chris Chambliss, the new hitting coach for the Mets, on his first tour of duty here.
How ironic is that? Chris Chambliss shows up on the day the Mets open up the series against the Yankees.
Yeah, he had some great years with the Yankees, and of course, he has been one of the outstanding players and an excellent hitting coach.
Alfonso Soriano will lead it off for the Yankees. And the battle with the within the ballpark in the stands will go on tonight, cheering-wise, with Yankee and Met fans on hand here for the first of 3 games in this series at Shea Stadium, and then 3 more to be played at Yankee Stadium as part of the interleague play this year. New York Mets and Yankees have, of course, a long history. 133 games. This is the 133rd. Yankees hold the edge, 78 to 53. Soriano takes the pitch for a strike, and we are underway.
Yankees with a .275 team batting average with 105 home runs.
They are the Bronx Bombers again. That one taken away. Soriano is one of those. I mean, here's a leadoff batter. There's the man hitting in the 3-hole. Both of whom are hitting home runs at an extraordinary pace, with Bernie Williams in the cleanup spot. And Alfonso Soriano right there with him. Jammed him on that pitch and fouled it back. No play, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Soriano with 15 home runs, a .312 average. He is in his second year with the Yankees, and after a fine rookie year, a much better sophomore year.
He ranks among the offensive leaders in average. He is 9th, 6th in homers, and he is 2nd in the American League in hits. Steve Trachsel trying to dry the hand off there, and at the plate, Soriano's trying to do the same thing with a bill of the caps. That's baseball on the WB11, brought to you in Espanol as they are working down the hallway from us. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Actually, it almost stopped raining about a half an hour ago, and then as it got close to first pitch, the weather got a little nastier. The overhand pitch right back to Trachsel. Ball will be slippery to throw as it was right there. Soriano's retired, 1 away.
Well, the infield is in great shape. The outfield is very wet and very slow. Right here, it's top back to the mound. And the out of first base. We are underway on a rainy, rainy day.
And here is Dereck Jeter. Jeter with a helmet off to keep the drops from bouncing in front of his eyes here. They had the tarp on the field all day. Put drying agent in the dirt areas before the game started when the tarp came off just a few minutes ago. Breaking ball. Jeter hangs off it on a 1-0 count.
Jeter in his first 1,000 games has had 1,276 hits. That's #1 in the major leagues among active players.
Continues to put up those amazing numbers. He's still young, 27 years old. Fouled that pitch back, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. There you see what he's done in that game span.
Pretty good action right there. Got Piazza right in there, and that's amazing for a catcher to be that high and that many hits.
Like him on the top 4 in the active in that group. Trachsel's in with a strike and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Jeter.
It also says something, Gary, about the way the game is played. You look at Giambi on the on-deck circle. The way the game is played today with so many great shortstops, and those top 4, 2 of those 4 are shortstops. You got Jeter and Rodriguez. It's amazing. You're talking about 2 of the best offensive players playing a prime defensive position.
That has been the nature of the beast at short over the last decade. Fine young shortstops who can hit the ball and not just pick up hits, but hit with power.
Garcia Parra, and of course the A-man at Texas, A-Rod.
Alex Rodriguez is among the leaders, the offensive categories of home run along with hits and average this season. He leads in RBIs with 57 and homers with 20. Jeter takes it. He did not go around. They'll check it first. Wally Bell says no.
Many times a pitch is made and you can't understand how a hitter cannot swing at it. How can he take it? He's totally fooled by the pitch.
That's easy to understand.
Yeah, that's easy when you're.
That's why you took it.
That's why he took it. That's right. And just missed.
Jeter has faced Trachsel 6 other at-bats and does not have a hit off him. 3-2 delivery. Jammed him again, and it's fouled off. 3-2. Trachsel stayed inside on the first 2 hitters for the Yankees.
They can look at it again. The pitch coming in, as Gary says, bearing down. You see the arms collapse, and he's trying to get his hands inside the ball, get the bat head to the ball. At least he keeps himself alive.
And the story of all great hitters is that they foul off pitches they can't hit and stay alive.
Jeter chops that one foul outside of third to keep it full. 3-2. Willie Randolph with the play at third base. And like the gentleman that he is, he'll find a worthy fan in a raincoat. Just made about 10 years worth of days for that young man. 3-2 count on Jeter. That's Al Leiter, I'm sure, discussing pitching. That one's going to be to third. Edgardo Alfonso makes the flip in the dirt and then wipes his hands on the side of his pants. That's going to happen. The grass is wet. The ball is wet. It'll be an error.
Well, you mentioned it, Gary, in the first ball that was hit back to Trachsel. A couple of hops for Edgardo and a wet baseball. Bovan can't dig it out. Jeter hustling all the way. And that's going to be an issue all night long in the infield and the outfield. You'll see the coaches, be third base and first base coach, be very aggressive with their base runners, because any ball that's hitting that outfield is going to be very difficult to throw and control.
Edgardo Alfonso just could not get a good handle on that. They charged with his 8th error, and the Mets with their 60th of the year. And that will bring up Jason Giambi. The acquisition who actually heard a few boos. It didn't take long. A slow start in New York. You're going to get that no matter what your name is or how much you got paid to come here. They have changed the cheers, though, at Yankee Stadium, because Giambi has moved up among the leaders in offense in the American League, including the long ball. He's now 3rd in homers.
You're going to have to expect stolen base attempts by the Yankees against the Mets. The Yankees have had 35 stolen bases. Been thrown out 14 times.
Jeter at first base. Not going there. The breaking ball is taken up high by Giambi. You would really believe the Yankees are going to test, as Ralph said, on every occasion they have to run. And Jeter's one of those who can run 12 out of 13 in stolen bases. While Mike Piazza is given credit for 4 toss-outs, but only 2 that he has gotten the runner at a base. The others were pickoffs with a runner going. And the Yankees obviously know that, and as Ralph said, they've got some team speed to work with here. Jeter, not a big lead. Giambi, the pitch is outside to him, 2-0.
Well, when Jeter not going, Gary, and you're talking about the numbers that Piazza throwing runners out is not good at all. And if you're a pitcher in this situation, well, Jeter's not going. The reason he's sitting down there because Giambi is going to sit there and wait for a fastball. You figure, well, the runner at first, best way to defend against him from a pitcher standpoint, if he's running, throw the fastball. And Giambi, a real good fastball hitter. It's almost a situation where you're going to play for 2 runs as opposed to 1.
And by keeping the runner at first base, of course, they keep the hole open at first base, where a single would move Jeter from first to third.
See, Mo Vaughn is not playing off the bag, even though it's a left-handed batter. He's staying right on the bag. And Giambi does take a strike on the outside corner. 3 pitches away from him by Trachsel. Bernie Williams on deck. Giambi's average at .316 coming into the ball game. That is 6th best in the league. His 50 RBIs are 5th best, only 7 behind the leader Alex Rodriguez in the American League. Not bad for a slow start, and he's got a 4-game hit streak coming into this game. There goes Jeter. Piazza's throw, not in time. Error and a stolen base puts Dereck Jeter at second.
The element of surprise, Mike Piazza gets the ball on his left side's got turned way back around and try to throw out Dereck Jeter. He is almost perfect on the season, 13 out of 14 now. And I agree with Ralph. I agree with you, Gary. The Yankees are going to run as much as they can in this series.
Mike Piazza knows that as well, and so does the staff that has to work. The answer, of course, is keep the Yankees off base. Easier said than done. So Giambi gets an RBI opportunity now with a 3-ball, 1-strike count, 1 away. And Trachsel gets the strike. Giambi wanted to head to first. Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, says hang on.
Take a look at the pitch again. Down and away. I can't understand why, Ralph, if you're a hitter, why you'd want to walk in that situation.
No way in the world you want to walk here. You get a chance for an RBI, and of course anything that happens better than that.
Especially you're a big hitter.
And Giambi, of course, is a very strong hitter.
3-ball, 2-strike count. Giambi waiting, takes it, and he does draw the walk.
One of the things about the Mets, the Yankees, Gary, they lead the major leagues in strikeouts. They have struck out 507 times this year, more than any other ball club. The only ball club to strike out over 500 times so far. I found it a very interesting statistics. They also have the most base on balls as well.
Which is something they've instituted over the last 5 or 6 years under Joe Torre. The patience. They take more pitches than any other team at the plate. Obviously, when you pile up strikeouts and walks, you're seeing a lot of pitches. Well, here's Bernie Williams, a 3-game hit streak. He will face Trachsel with runners at first and second base. The Yankees get a couple on here, and boy, they've got some unbelievable numbers from their hitters for RBIs. Williams is hitting .300 with runners in scoring position. Giambi's .365. Jeter's .364. You talk about some offense being delivered. The Yankee team is doing it. 1 down, Williams waiting. And the fastball from Trachsel's on the outside corner.
And Bernie Williams, one of the most consistent hitters in baseball. He has hit .300 or more in his last 7 seasons.
That is high-class consistency. And 3-10 as he comes into this ball game. 0-1 count. Runners off first and second. Williams takes the pitch down low, 1-1.
Only Ruth and Gehrig have done it more often. 307 straight seasons. Gehrig did it over a period of 12 years and Ruth over 9. And of course, the Maggio's in there too. Pretty good names right there.
And Bernie Williams, who gave up the cleanup hole last year with the Yankees, is back in the cleanup spot. Second base Ordonez moved in. Jeter gets back in behind him. Yankees making a long first inning out of it here for Steve Trachsel after he got the first out on Soriano. The error by Alfonso and then a stolen base by Jeter, followed by the walk to Giambi. Steve Trachsel's having to throw a ton here. Mets infield, a double play depth on Bernie Williams. Very tough to double up, especially from this side of the plate. Williams steps out. Williams hitting .333 right, .301 left. He's had 7 home runs left-handed, 3 right-handed. Power and average both ways. Trachsel came back inside, missed with it, 2-1.
The other thing, Gary, you're talking about a lot of pitchers, a lot of time. Outfielder starting to pace around. A lot of pitchers. Steve Trachsel takes a lot of time, especially when they're men on base.
And there are here.
It's cold out.
And they're getting wet.
It's cold out there in the outfield, too. You're darn right. Their feet are getting wet.
Here's the 2-1 delivery. Breaking ball called strike at the letters. Off speed on it. 2-2 to Bernie Williams.
Bernie not happy with that call.
That's the
right
high strike. In fact, Mike Piazza was up there trying to get that pitch up, it looked like, because that's where he had it set for.
Got to find out. Got to find out where the top of the strike zone is if you're a pitcher and or a hitter. How high is the umpire up the ladder? How high is he going to go?
2-ball, 2-strike count here. Jeter off second base. Giambi off first. Fastball down to third is foul. You saw the effect of the high strike call on the pitch before that on that swing. Williams didn't dare to let that pitch go by, and he kind of had to hit down on the ball just to protect himself.
Most every hitter is going to want to know what the pitcher has. If the first hitter makes an out, comes back to the bench and says, you know, what's he throwing? Is the ball movement, fastball good? They also want to know where is the strike zone. That's a good pitch right there.
That's a strike. Yeah.
It's the umpire's strike zone.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Steve Trachsel working hard on Bernie Williams, who chops it down to first. Mo Vaughn got to go to the bag with it. He took a look at second base. Looked like he had a little trouble hanging on and decided to make sure of the out. The runners move up, but there are 2 down.
Actually, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say he played that defensively and to make sure he got 1 out.
Well, with the 2 big hops on the ball, you're not going to get the guy at second base, especially if the ball is wet on the infield. So you take the conservative approach, get the out at first base.
That will leave it up to Jorge Posada, the 30-year-old Yankee catcher. He too driving in runs this year. Posada comes into this game with a .321 average with runners in scoring position. He's got 2 out there right now with 2 down. No score, first inning. Trachsel trying to work his way out of it. Posada, another switch hitter in that lineup. Way inside. Jorge this season's at .356 right, .235 left. Big difference.
Tremendous difference, and the same thing you can say about Shane Spencer in this game. They are much better against left-hand pitching than right. So that gives the Mets a little bit of an edge right there. Of course, first base is open. He didn't have to give in to Posada. Ventura's on deck.
Here's the 1-0 delivery to him outside. 2-ball count, and there's the former Met, Robin Ventura. Spencer in the ball game tonight, getting down in the order in the 8th spot. 2-0 count to Jorge Posada. The Yankees thought they were patient at the plate. Wonder what they're thinking about facing Trachsel. That one is popped up left center field. Cedeno Payton will make the play. So Trachsel works his way out of that one. No runs, no hits, an error, and the Yankees leave 2. Andy Pettitte coming off the DL to get back in the rotation for the Yankees, and the lineup he will face of the New York Mets is brought to you by Budweiser. For Bobby Valentine against the Yankees in Game 1, Roger Cedeno, Roberto Alomar, Mo Vaughn, Mike Piazza, Edgardo Alfonso, Jeremy Burnitz, Jay Payton, as you saw in center, Ray Ordonez, and Steve Trachsel.
And on the mound for the Yankees, Andy Pettitte. He'll be 30 years old tomorrow, 6'5", 225, just making his 4th start after coming back off the DL. He was a 15-game winner last year. Went on the DL in April 21st, trouble with his left elbow.
Tri-State Ford defense, Spencer Williams, Vanderwall, Ventura, Jeter, Soriano, and Giambi. Posada doing the catching and Andy Pettitte pitching. Vanderwall has good numbers against Trachsel. That's why he's out there in right field, one of the reasons. Here is Roger Cedeno, switch-off hitter, and he takes it. Switch lead hitter. Takes a strike on the outside corner.
Well, Pettitte has had some problems, at least they've talked about this, of tipping his pitches off. He's been an outstanding pitcher, especially at home in Yankee Stadium. On the road, not quite as effective. He will probably go about 80 pitches in this ball game.
Keep in mind, it is his first start since April 15 because of the elbow problem, which has put him on the DL at 4 different times in his career. So he just came off the DL for this game. He made 4 rehab starts for 15 1/3 total innings in the rehab starts. That's his last regular season start for the Yankees, so it's been a while.
And Yankee Stadium is at a .727 winning percentage. That is excellent right there.
2-ball, 2-strike count from Andy Pettitte. Mel Stottlemyre, the man who takes care of the pitching. Former Yankee great, of course, has coached both the Mets and the Yankees. 2-2 delivery up the middle. Cedeno, Jeter. Oh my. And get much better than that.
Well, it took an outstanding play to get Cedeno at first base, and Jeter makes the pivot. Perfect throw, tough throw, and it's right there.
I think you said it exactly correctly, Gary. Oh my, this is the kind of play that just, why it's one of the most wonderful positions, if not the most wonderful position on the field, to watch somebody play it. You got a Jeter or a Ray Ordonez that can play defense. It is just a thing of grace and beauty. Oh my is right.
That denies Cedeno a leadoff single. Andy Pettitte's going, yep, well, nothing's changed behind me.
He's got the same thing going
Everything's
for
just
him.
fine.
That guy's still here, isn't he?
Still there. Gee, I like that. Here's Roberto Alomar, and his chopper comes right back to Pettitte. 2 down. 2 quick outs. Tonight's game brought to you by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Andy Pettitte, sinker ball pitcher. He needs to be able to field his position.
And does. Good plays. It makes the stab at the high hopper. Easy out. Alomar has hit the Yankees extremely well. A lifetime .333 average. Not that time.
Mo Vaughn has put up some big numbers against the Yankees in a Red Sox uniform. Now gets to face them here in the Mets uniform. Tough road trip for him. He went 8 for 38, a .211 average on the road. Fouls that pitch back and a 2-strike count. Against New York in his career, though, 29 homers to go with that 78 career average in over 100 games.
How about this stat, though? Jimmy Fox, as you think about the road trip, Jimmy Fox hit 70 home runs against the Yankees in his major league career. One of the great hitters of all time. 58 home runs 1 year. Twice hit over 50 home runs.
0-2 hit him. And that's that leaning over the plate. And Mo Vaughn is hit by a pitch.
It's a fastball in tight. Vaughn tries to get out of the way. He's right on top of that plate. So he does get hit a lot. They like to pitch him inside. That's exactly where that pitch was.
Andy Pettitte came down and asked the home plate umpire, Mark Carlson, said, was that ball a strike? He thought it was a strike.
Yep.
He got hit in the strike zone. It's a strike. You want to get out of the way. It was not far off his right.
Well, there is a rule that says you have to try and get out of the way of the ball. It's not enforced. And that ball close to a strike. Might have been high, but very close to being on the inside corner.
So Andy Pettitte hitting Vaughn. First batter he has hit this season puts Mo Vaughn on at first base. And here's Mike Piazza outside. Well, let's get it in. Piazza Clemens tomorrow. It has been the only thing talked about, I think, in New York for about a month and a half as soon as somebody realized that Clemens was going to be pitching.
I was just going to say, Gary, that if Clemens had been on the mound and hit Vaughn, it would have been a little bit different.
A little bit different. So tomorrow, if all goes as planned, they face one another for the first time since the throwing of the broken piece of bat. And everybody's got an opinion on what tomorrow's going to look like.
Well, you got this WWF mentality going around of bloodthirst, and you know, if anything was going to happen.
Jeter, can he do it again? Gets away down the right field side. Vaughn will stop at third. Piazza goes to second. Jeter will be charged with an error.
We had an outside chance at a play at second base as he goes deep in the hole, but throws the ball away. And so each team has made an error in this inning, and each team has had a runner at second and third in this inning.
If he had to do it over again, he probably would have put it in his pocket and said, no way, and especially on this wet turf, we see it come to play in just one inning here. The stuff on Mike Piazza, take a look at Mo Vaughn, and that's why you throw to second, because you've got a chance with the runner Mo Vaughn going, and he throws it in the right field.
Well, the Mets get an RBI chance here. Edgardo Alfonso now, runners at second and third, and a breaking ball inside to him from Andy Pettitte. So a couple of errors, one for each team. The Mets' best hitter with runners in scoring position and their hottest hitter right now. Jeter makes a spectacular play and then throws one into right field. It's a humbling game. We'll get the intentional pass right here.
You know, with all that stuff, we can get back to the Mike Piazza and the Roger Clemens issues. And it's my feeling as a former player, Gary, if that was going to be handled, it should have been handled when it happened over at Yankee Stadium. And you had a pitcher in the game, Mike Hampton, who couldn't retaliate because he would get retaliate at that point. He's out of the ball game. Go under the new rules. Now there was warnings. Okay, now you're gone if you hit him. And that's the problem. You've taken all the game, that part of the game, away from the players. But you could have retaliated later, and it should have been taken care of in that ball game right there when your number one guy gets hit in the head. Roger Clemens just continued to throw inside. Don't think for 1 second.
He's
not going to change one iota.
No.
You know, and don't be leaning over there or you're going to get hit. One of the two.
It's a rule that was introduced in baseball to stop the beanball wars that went on for years and years in baseball. And without the rule, I think it would have been taken care of and been put on the back burner, and that would have been it. But now it's still talked about.
Bases loaded, Squibber, and Burnitz will be tagged out. Our Dodge trivia question. The 10 players who have played the most baseball games in a New York baseball uniform. That's all time for all of the teams that have played in New York. Brooklyn, New York Giants, Yankees, Mets. Teams that have, the players who've played the most games in a New York uniform. And we'll show them to you as we go along. Robin Ventura. You know, when Robin was let go by the Mets, that The hope was for his side that he'd be able to come back in this kind of a setting and say, see, I can still play. 15 homers, 42 RBIs so far. Pops that one off Trachsel to shallow left field. Cedeno into the rain, makes the play. Not easily. One down.
Well, the wind is also a factor along with the rain here, and this is not that easy.
It seems to be blowing the ball left to right start in the game. Those flags are so wet they're not moving very much, but up on top you can see, and that's blowing out going left to right, and you see the rain blowing that way as well. Here is John Vanderwall, veteran playing right field in this game, and Vanderwall takes it down low for a ball. He has faced Trachsel in the past, and along with good average overall this season for him, he's also had a home run, 3 hits and 11 at bats off Trachsel. 1-0 count to Vanderwall, and a strike taken.
Been an outstanding pinch hitter.
For the last few seasons, he has been one of the game's best pinch hitters. Trachsel pulls a string on him there, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
Got the same kind of swing that Jeremy Burnitz has, doesn't he?
Big uppercut swing.
Big uppercut, let go of that top hand.
Third all time on the pinch hit home run list with 17. Trachsel goes away from him there, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. David Wells watching. He's got a 7-3 mark. Pitching well for the Yankees and having a little baseball discussion there with Zim. Don Zimmer, Mel Stottlemyre in the middle.
It doesn't look like a discussion.
No, well, he's listening.
You have to have, yeah.
You have.
He's having a little baseball listening
yes.
session.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
This to me, it looks. That's what it looks. Appears to me.
There's a good chance it'll stay that way.
Yes.
Mel's learned. He just keeps eating the pistachios.
He didn't say a word.
No,
Mel
shake your
did.
head.
He just shakes his head.
Yeah, shake your head. 3-2 delivery. Vanderwall fights that one off to keep it at a 3-ball 2-strike count. And there is Shane Spencer starting in left field in this ball game for the Yankees, waiting on deck.
Simmer at one time was an outstanding minor league shortstop and a great prospect for the Dodgers. Had some severe beatings that really took his career away from him.
Somebody forgot to tell him, though, about leaving the game. 50+ years now for Don Zimmer.
He has never made one penny in his life other than in baseball. Didn't deliver papers as a kid, no cutting and mowing of lawns or anything. All his money contrived and earned from baseball.
It's amazing. Chopper hit him in the box. A foul ball to keep that count at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
There's another one of those individuals that's right on that path in this ballpark, Joe McEwing. It'll be exactly the same way. One of the old terms, if you get out of the game, they're going to have to tear the uniform off of you. Don Zimmer, they couldn't tear it off. There's Joe Mack. All versatility. And if he's going to get out of the game, they're going to have to tear the uniform off his back. That's the only way he's going to leave.
He'll be managing, coaching.
Absolutely.
He's a
lifer.
Days.
He's
Yep.
what is known as a lifer.
Vanderwall's got a 3-2 count, 1 down. Breaking balls right there. Tied him up and got him. Steve Trachsel gets the strikeout, 2 down.
Well, a good curveball here with a 3-2 pitch. How about that, Tom?
Well, they throw him a bunch of fastballs in a row on the outside part of the plate, and you can see that right knee buckle there on the 3-2 curveball. Fooled me, and it certainly fooled the hitter.
We're going to count you down a little bit in groups of 3 to our trivia question. Those who have played in a New York uniform most games: Bill Dickey, Ed Kranepool, Roy White, 10-9-8.
You gotta say that Lou Gehrig's in there.
Got to be.
Crane made it. Crane made it. That's good.
Yep.
That surprised me.
Yep.
All the history of the Yankees, you wondered if Mets have been around long enough, or any player long enough to get in the top 10. That's quite a surprise and an honor for Eddie.
Well, Jeter ought to be pretty close. Even though he hasn't played a long time. He's been in a uniform for the Yankees a long time. I don't know. Think he made it?
I don't know.
think so.
Some of the players stayed with teams, obviously, long back in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
Well, it wasn't Wally Pipp.
Wasn't Wally Pipp. Lou took care of that. Broken bat, base hit. So with 2 down, Shane Spencer delivers the Yankees' first hit of a ball game. Comebacker up the middle.
This is one of those base hits that can turn out to be meaningless, but to a coach and to an organization and to a lineup, it is a huge base hit. A 2-out single with the hitter in the on-deck circle. It turns the lineup over no matter what happens. That's a great at-bat. It'll go as one of the most overlooked at-bats in the game here this evening.
That might be overlooked. Not by the manufacturer of the bat, though.
And not by the people in uniform down there either. Take a look at the pitch again. Fastball on the outside part of the plate, just past Ordonez at shortstop.
That will give Andy Pettitte a chance to come to the plate, as the American League pitchers here in interleague play in National League parks get to do what they love to do but rarely have a chance to hit.
I don't think they love it on a night like tonight, though.
No. No, tonight might be a little different. Pettitte getting his first at bat. Steve Trachsel. This is where what you've talked about, Tom. Don't waste pitches here. Come and get them. Spencer back to the bag at first.
Now, why would you throw to first base there? I mean,
you didn't know what you wanted to throw. I can come up with
that's the only answer.
A lot of excuses, a lot of answers, and none of them correct.
Spencer's 0 for 2 stealing bases, and Trachsel misses on the first 2 to Andy Pettitte. 2-0.
The main thing here is get the hitter out and don't go to the top of the batting order. And the runner won't be going there. He surely shouldn't be, because if he gets thrown out, then the pitcher would lead off the inning and would take away the base hit with 2 men out.
So get the hitter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
2-0 delivery. Trachsel gets that one in there, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Trachsel wants this one right here against Andy Pettitte in his career. Last year ended up with 31 at-bats and did not come away with a hit. The Mets coaches were searching for his offensive numbers and concluded there aren't any. Before today's game, 2-2.
Pretty good looking swing right there.
Yeah, he missed the ball by about 6 inches.
But the swing looked good.
It was a good swing.
Unfortunately, no contact. He said one of those hitters
forgot the second part of the swing.
You know it's better.
Some of those guys swing in the same spot every time.
Casey
just don't throw it in that spot. That's all.
And another dangerous throw that's down low that Mo Vaughn had to scoop out.
Spencer slipped as he turned to come back at the bag there. You saw this slide there, and they go out and flatten out the infield.
2-ball 2-strike count on Andy Pettitte. Runner at first. 2 down, no score. With the light rain continuing to fall, and Andy Pettitte is gone. Couple of strikeouts for Trachsel in the game and the inning. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. Bottom third of the order will be coming up for the Mets when we come back to Shea. Just decided, well, let me give it a try. The new Mets hitting instructor joining the New York Mets for tonight's game.
Oh, Chris, with a big home run right here in the playoff game, gave the Yankees the victory in that game, and the fireworks go off.
American League Championship Series, Chris Chambliss celebrating. Imitation of Jim Brown.
That's what I remember about that home run, and how he was trying to defend himself, run around those bases, and run right over the top of people.
And good luck holding down the job.
Came to the Yankees from Cleveland, and about 4 days later, Gabe Paul, who traded him to the Yankees, came to the Yankees also as a executive of the Yankees. Often wonder about that deal.
No need to wonder.
I think it's self-explanatory.
Perfectly clear. Jay Payton up.
Gary Thorne was a smart man, knew exactly what he was doing.
Always wanted to live in New York.
Payton only had 19 at-bats on the road trip for the Mets, with the red-hot Timo Perez getting the majority of starts and at-bats in center field. Jay Payton back in the lineup tonight against the left-hander. And Andy Pettitte's on the inside corner with it. 2-ball, 1-strike count. We will keep reminding you the fact that Pettitte is coming off the DL. So obviously, as Ralph mentioned earlier, they're going to be counting pitches. Keep an eye on how that elbow feels that has bothered him. Fouled off. But he looks like he's throwing pretty good here early on in the game.
He got 22 pitches so far, Gary, and one of the things about him, he's not really a strikeout pitcher. He doesn't walk very many. Good control. And a strikeout pitcher will average about 14.5 to 15 pitches per game. There you can see Mel Stottlemyre with a counter in his hand. He'll click off every time a pitch is thrown. He'll click off another number for him. You're going to figure a guy like Pettitte with good control, you're going to say 12, 13 pitches if you're pitching well. Now, if you're not pitching well, you're going to, your pitching total, your pitch total is going to go up. But if you're around the strike zone, getting your outs, a non-strikeout pitcher will be about 12.5 to 13 pitches per inning.
He's about half on balls, strikes thrown so far. 2-2 delivery to Jay Payton. That down to third. That also is foul.
The other part of the emotional aspect of it, he threw a lot of pitches in the first inning. He hit Mo Vaughn. He made those 4 starts that you talked about in the rehab starts in the minor leagues. You know, the crosstown inter-rivalry between the Mets and the Yankees. I have to pitch the opening game of this series. It hasn't been in the big league since April 21st. So he had some butterflies when he went out there to deal with anyway. He got him, he was really exhaling before he threw the first pitch. He was all right. Now settle down and do your job. Get that first inning out of the way. And we're seeing a little bit different Andy Pettitte the second inning than we saw in the first inning.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Mel Stottlemyre, a man who's very close and has been ever since he took over to all of the pitchers on the staff. And he's got the credentials that they listen. And talk to any pitchers work for the Yankees. Working with Stottlemyre has been a treat. Payton gets a base hit and a quality at bat. Well, the Mets have their second hit of the game off Andy Pettitte. Take a look. Andy Pettitte first inning. Andy Pettitte second.
And making his first start since the 4 starts in the minor league. And we look at his mechanics. You see him in the first inning on the left of your screen. And everything seems to be the same height and delivery. One of the things about Andy Pettitte, a lot of people thought that he might be giving his pitches away. Everything looks pretty good right there. Real good mechanics on that right screen. And just about the same kind of finish.
Got him picked off. Jay Payton will be run to second and the tag put on by Jeter. The kind of things that don't help Jay Payton stay in the lineup. He gets a base hit and then is picked off by Andy Pettitte, who's got one of the best pickoff moves in baseball.
That he does, Gary. An outstanding move, close to being a balk move. And whether he was off thinking about a stolen base on the first pitch, I don't know. Nope, he was looking at home. He was totally fooled by Pettitte.
Andy Pettitte now has 62 career pickoffs. The highest total in the majors since 1995. And that is a pickoff because Jay Payton wasn't heading to second base. So that eliminates the base runner, and there's one away, and that's a leadoff single taken off the base.
You know, you got to wonder about Payton on that play because he appeared not to be attempting to steal. You got to really be alive when you got a pitcher like Pettitte on the mound. He's going to throw over there, and he's got that great move. It's actually a balk move, which most left-handers do have. They are supposed to step to the bag, and of course he stepped about halfway toward home and first base.
Ray Ordonez's got a lot of that power alley. Spencer. 2 down.
One of the things about a heavy night, we're talking about the weather with the dampness and humidity here, rain in Shea Stadium, the ball will not carry as much, and that's a long way in left center between that 371 and 396 sign in left center at Shea Stadium. Call it WTP in that territory for Ray Ordonez, warning track power.
Steve Trachsel, 2 down, nobody on. Couple of hits for him this year, and he takes it up high from Andy Pettitte. So Pettitte with a chance to have to face only 3 here in the second inning in light of that pickoff move he put on. His lifetime record, 3 wins, 2 losses against the Mets. Pettitte worked against New York last year here at Shea in June. Got a non-decision in a 5-4 Yankee win, and then he beat the Mets in July 8-3 at Yankee Stadium. Roger Clemens on the bench. And if you missed it, Major League Baseball announced that there will be no action taken against Roger Clemens regarding the Bonds hit by a pitch incident. Said there was nothing there. Thought that the discussion Clemens had about taking a look at the protective wear worn by Bonds was said in jest. So there's not going to be any suspension or anything else in that regard. Joe Torre made it clear he didn't like the comments that were made prior to that decision by Met players who said, oh yeah, the league's going to suspend him and he'll have another way to get out of pitching against the Mets.
I think a lot of that was said in tongue in cheek, though. I mean, nobody's going to think that. Would they? No comment.
He's going to leave that right there.
I just said,
I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Steve Trachsel waiting, and he's gone. The town scoreboard, as there is no score here. White Sox and Cubs, that rivalry going on, and the White Sox won the opener. Montreal's got a lead over Toronto. Mets are tied with them. Tampa Bay and Florida, the interstate rivalry. Baltimore and Philadelphia, no score there. Atlanta at home against Boston. Minnesota, Milwaukee. A lot of Zippos up there early on in these interleague baseball games. And a lot of great rivalries. Kansas City, St. Louis. That'll be a later start in Colorado, and these are later games on the West Coast. So there you go. And there's the National League game, the only one being played within the league. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, 3rd inning, no score. New York Mets come into this game 6.5 games behind Atlanta, tied with Montreal for 3rd, a game behind Florida in 2nd place, while the Yankees are a game and a half behind Boston. Bobby Valentine's Mets coming off the road trip, having lost the last 2 games and going 4 under 500 on that road trip.
All right, Thorne, who's got the best winning percentage in baseball? Wouldn't be your Boston Red Sox. What did I see you grinning over there?
I didn't say a word.
Second best, New York Yankees. Your Red Sox going to hang on?
No. Of course they're not.
Boy, oh boy.
I mean, you ask the silliest questions for a man of such baseball distinction.
Man. Boy, oh boy.
Alfonso Soriano is grounded out in his first at bat.
If they could find that piano at the bottom of the lake, they might win.
It's been a long search, Ralph, and nothing's sounding like a piano yet. 1-0 delivery. See, some of that drying agent has been put on the field between innings.
Speaking about the piano, Babe Ruth allegedly threw a piano in the lake. And that was the start of the curse. That was when he was with the Red Sox as a pitcher and outfielder. One of the greatest pitchers that ever pitched in the game as a Red Sox pitcher. Was 5-0 as a pitcher with the Yankees. And they're looking for that piano. If they find that piano, it might change.
2-1 delivery down to 3rd. That is just foul. And Soriano will come back. What a fine young player this second baseman is. 24 years old. He can hit and field.
You got lightning bat speed. C.B. Buckner The umpire at third base making the call just outside the third base bag. He has tremendous bat speed, this kid.
Then Pedro de Macorís, where shortstops are born, raised, and move on to the majors. 2-2 delivery off the fist. Good pitch by Trachsel, but it's going to be in the seats. And the count will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Soriano led virtually in every category among the rookies last season. And the big question when last season started for the Yankees, one of them was that second base position. Chuck Knobloch gone, and who would fill it? Well, he did. He needed more than that. He found a home both in New York and at second base. 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball got him. Good pitch. Trachsel gets his third strikeout to Soriano's amazement.
There's that curveball again right on the outside corner, and a beauty by Steve Trachsel. One of the things you find out about when you read stats, if you're a pitcher, you read these things, and certainly Steve Trachsel has. Soriano has only walked 8 times and struck out 66 times, so he has a big strike zone in which to throw to. But he was totally fooled by that curveball.
That will bring up Dereck Jeter. Reached on an error his first time up and was stranded. Soriano goes back, the third strikeout victim of the last 4 batters faced by Trachsel. And Jeter takes the heater for a strike. Trachsel does not strike out as many this year as he did last year. In fact, it's almost been cut in half. He struck out 7.5 per 9 innings last year, down to 4.3 this season. 0-1 delivery, again fouled off, and a 2-strike count.
Trachsel with the Cubs pitched back-to-back 1-0 games against the Red Sox and the Yankees.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. In fact, it's the only time it was ever done by a pitcher against those 2 clubs in consecutive games.
The 0-2 delivery to Jeter, just fouled it back.
He threw that ball right by him.
Right by him.
Either Jeter was looking for a breaking ball and didn't get it, or just real late on the fastball. Good location out over the plate on the corner, and he barely got to it.
Well, Jeter had been watching Trachsel throw those 3-2 breaking balls. So on an 0-2 count, figured he might see one right there, and Trachsel tried to cross him up with a heater. 0-2 delivery again inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dereck Jeter. Jeter coming into this ball game, 6 hits in his last 36 at bats, including an 0 for 3 on Wednesday against the Diamondbacks. The bat's gone a little bit quiet on him, and still looking for his first hit off Trachsel. Back inside again. Last 9 games, just a 176 average.
Last 2 fastballs inside, and now if you are a hitter, you say, well, he's got to come back with a curveball here.
See if he does. 2-2 delivery. Blooped into center field, base hit. Came in with a fastball, jammed him, and Jeter drove it out.
I think you're exactly right, Ralph. No question. I'm looking for curveball myself in that situation from the pitcher. And just a credit to Dereck Jeter. Real quick bat. At least get the bat head to the ball. You can look at the contact. Head right down on top of it. At least putting the ball in play. Yeah, you don't have to hit it hard. You just have to hit it where they ain't. And that's exactly what he did.
As Willie Keeler said, I hit him where they ain't. And that was it right there.
Now, Jason Giambi.
Oh, Willie Keeler used a wagon tongue for a bat, didn't he?
He pretty did.
About a 48-ounce bat or something like that.
He was a little shortstop, and he didn't hit him far, but he hit him where they ain't.
Runner at first base. Giambi drew the walk, the only one given up by Trachsel so far in the game. Jeter stole a base his first time on. Took something off that pitch and got it in for a strike to Giambi.
This pitch a fastball, and I should say a curveball, and hanging in there and called a strike.
Jason Giambi has had an 0 for 4 against Trachsel in the only times he's faced him. Yankees are 1-2 in on-base percentage and slugging. Jason Giambi's one of the reasons. He's third in the AL in on-base, home runs, and slugging.
Now Jeter stole second base in the first inning. So you got to be alive for the fact he might try it again and again.
No score in this ball game in the third inning. Not a big lead. Not going. And the pitch is there for a strike. Giambi has questioned home plate umpire Mark Carlson in both of his at-bats on that call.
That ball's not high.
Giambi's got a 4-game hit streak coming into this series. It will be continued with the matchup tomorrow, Clemens and Estes, and then Sunday, David Wells and Pedro Estacio. Giambi backs out on Trachsel. That's right-hander with an 0-2 count. Runner goes. Piazza's throw on Jeter. One hopper, no chance. Jeter 2 for 2 in stolen bases tonight.
The 0-2 fastball up and out. Probably the splitter. Looked like the splitter moving right at the strike zone. Odd time for Jeter to steal. You got your home run hitter up to the plate. And a big jump by Jeter at first base. His second stolen base of the ball game, and second against Piazza.
So he gets in scoring position with a stolen base. Giambi's a strikeout victim. 4 Ks now for Trachsel in the game. And now Bernie Williams. Williams grounded out his first time up. No score in the ball game. Yankees left 2 on in scoring position in the first and another on in the second at first base. And the breaking ball by Trachsel is way outside.
You're a power hitter, Ralph. The stolen base 0-2. Now you were a power hitter. I want your take on this. I think it's a bad time for Jeter to go.
1 man out, and I would say yes. It's a surprise that he was going there. As a hitter, you got to be swinging away because you're protecting with 2 strikes.
Giambi took the K on the swing. Jeter got the stolen base.
I know when I was hitting, I didn't like anybody moving on the bases. That's one thing I didn't like.
It's one of the questions that would, might be asked after the game by somebody. They said, "Were you surprised at the stolen base attempt?" Now maybe they've talked about it. Maybe Jeter has talked to Giambi. Said, "I don't care. You can run whatever you want to run. Go ahead and get down there in scoring position. Fine, doesn't bother me."
What they're talking about right there is the high strike. The Yankees, none of them are liking this high strike being called by Carlson. You saw Giambi turn to Stottlemyre and indicate that, gee, those pitches are up. But they're being called consistently tonight. Bernie Williams turned around on that last call. Breaking ball, foul back, and a 1-2 count on Williams.
This is the pitch to Giambi. Now Jeter is off at first base. Pitch out over the plate. That's a darn good pitch.
Yeah, that's not a high strike.
That's not high at all. I think he was talking about a bit. Wait, he's been calling. Gary's right about the entire game. He's been calling strikes. You don't care what it is, hitter or pitcher, as long as you're consistent. Each hitter, each team, etc., and each inning. Don't change that strike zone once you get to the last 3 innings of the ball game.
1-2, 2 down. Jeter off second base. Trachsel will step off. It is funny to watch the Mets players with Trachsel on the mound. Wandering around, gloves off. 1-2 count. And he's up high with that one. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Alfonso's checking the rain.
Ray's checking Edgardo.
Alomar's walking around. Mo's saying it's wet out here.
The mind will wander.
The mind will wander.
Good time to practice your swing if you're an outfielder.
Do the old Ted Williams, right?
Right.
You got plenty of time to do it.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball got him. 5 strikeouts for Steve Trachsel. He struck the side out. Trachsel will say, "They'll wait just as long as I want. I'll take the K's." With us, yet another historic matchup here for the 3-game set over the weekend. Umpires conferring because it's nasty out there. Now they're even raking.
Well, they put the whatever they call it,
A drying
stuff,
agent,
on the round home plate. It's drizzling there, and of course it's not like in golf where they squeegee the greens, which they had to do in the U.S. Open today with the rain all day long up there. Watching that, they played in that rain. It was really coming down hard during the day.
Jay Payton, who got picked off earlier in the game, talking with Mookie Wilson. Not sure that's what it's about, but
He wasn't
my money
really
on
trying to steal either.
no. He led off the inning in the second with a single and got picked off. Now Andy Pettitte will go back to work here. Leadoff batter Cedeno, Alomar, and Vaughn. Cedeno grounded out his first time up, denied a base hit on a spectacular play at short by Dereck Jeter.
Pettitte has thrown a total of 56 pitches. We assume he's going to be taken out of the ball game somewhere around 80 or so pitches. So he's getting up to that mark. This is his first start in the major leagues in a long time.
And effective so far in this game. 1-1 here at Shea Stadium in games he's pitched against the Mets. And he's right there with that one. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count from Pettitte. Mariano Rivera, of course, is not available. 15-day DL with that right groin problem. The Mets are happy about that part of it, not having to face him in this series. 1-2 delivery and a base hit. That one stayed up. And Cedeno's on. So the Mets, for the second time in 3 innings, get the leadoff man on base. Our trivia question, a little different tonight. It's the 10 players who have played the most games in a New York baseball uniform. We showed you Bill Dickey at 10, Ed Kranepool at 9, and Roy White at 8. 7 is Babe Ruth. Pee Wee Reese at 6. The great shortstop, and Yogi Berra. Yankee catcher at 5. Surprise Babe's only 7.
Well, he pitched a long time for the Red Sox.
Runner going here. Posada's throw. That's off the mark, and a good play by Soriano. So the Mets will try and run as Cedeno steals a base.
Well, the element of surprise by Bobby Valentine, and Cedeno off with motion. As soon as that first move is made by Pettitte, he was gone. He steals his 8th stolen base. The Mets, that is only their 29th stolen base on the year. And been thrown out 19 times. He sees the first movement by Pettitte, and you go. If you get picked off, so be it. But you just head for second base on the very first movement.
Mets are 14th in the league in stolen bases.
And the American League and other teams have stolen the percentage off of Posada of 77%. It's about an average of 70 is the league average.
Alomar now.
Ooh. I can't believe that.
I think I saw him square again.
He squared it into bunt, and he's done this earlier in the season, and that is not what you look for. You look for the ball to be put in play to the right side right here. Bunt is giving them an out.
There is nobody out. No score. 1-ball, 1-strike count. Not bunting, but Pettitte jammed him hard. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Alomar's had .333 lifetime against the Yankees. He was trying to hit that ball to right field, and he was tied up inside.
He has gone 8 for 29 with a home run off Andy Pettitte. 1-ball, 2-strike count on him here. Cedeno at second base, Jeter holding him. Again, trying to go the other way, fouls it off.
One of the things that Roberto Alomar has been known to do is to give up a strike to try to gain a step or a half a step from an infielder. Now, I agree with you, Ralph. If he was running in that situation of that second strike, you would wonder. But he may have just shown run, trying to decoy, to try to decoy Soriano and Giambi on the right side of the infield. Come in one half step. Give me one more half step. Because you saw when he did go to swing on the next pitch, he was really trying to go to right field, which he should be doing.
1-2 is inside. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Mets have picked up 3 hits, 3 singles in the ball game so far off Andy Pettitte. Alomar grounded out his first time up. And an RBI opportunity right here with a speedy base runner, Cedeno, out there at second base. Alomar's .314 with runners in scoring position. Good number. 2-2 delivery to him. Inside out foul.
He's really trying to hit the ball to the right side to move the runner up and hopefully get a base hit to do it, but he has done that.
You can see the swing again, trying to go to the right side. Even with 2 strikes, you have a massive hole on the left side. Jeter is way over behind Cedeno. And Ventura way back at third.
2-2 delivery to him, and Pettitte wins that one. Would not go anywhere but inside and down, and he gets his second strikeout.
That was a classic example of a pitcher pitching the hitter to keep him from hitting the ball to right field. Good job by Pettitte.
A lot of baseball people will tell you if you get 2 strikes, forget moving them over. Just put the ball in play. But you can see Roberto still trying to hit the ball to the right side.
He can handle that bat well, and he's played long enough to do that. Yeah. But Pettitte really did a great job on it.
And got him to swing at a bad pitch.
Now Mo Vaughn with the one away. Alomar talking to Chris Chambliss, the new hitting instructor, who is familiar with Andy Pettitte from Yankee days. Chambliss starts the instruction right away before he's even had a chance to have a batting practice. Vaughn fouls it off. Can Mo Vaughn get it going? Put another way, how much of Mo Vaughn was Fenway Park in his career?
He had a much better record in Fenway than he did in other parks.
Much
the park
better.
Was good for him.
He used that left field wall, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He used to drive a lot of balls off the left field wall at Fenway for base hits that gave him a very strong average at home. Cedeno off second base. 0-1 count. Vaughn still trying to get it going for the Mets. And Pettitte's pitch is outside. If you look at the comparison of Mo Vaughn's numbers at Fenway and elsewhere.
Big difference right there.
Big difference. Kind of like DiMaggio at home and Danny Tartabull on the road. We don't disdain Danny Tartabull in any way, but the point is, Mo loved Fenway.
Loved Fenway, and the numbers prove it, too.
Yep. Can he get going again? I mean, he has done everything imaginable. Chris Chambliss obviously will be working with him now, from changing bats to changing positions in the box and everything else. But it hasn't worked. It hasn't been much difference right or left-handed either. He's 226 off lefties, 230 off right-handers.
One of the things Chambliss said he's going to do is to just have one voice in the Mo Vaughn. Mo's been listening to everybody.
Well, you can't do that. There's no way in the world.
Every game has been something, trying something new, try it just for one game.
3 ball, 1 strike count.
There's one thing by Mo Vaughn that I really like about him. You can't get him off that plate. And the one thing that he has shown us so far this year, has shown me anyway, is that his body action is excellent. It's just that he is not moving the bat through the zone early enough. He's been behind on the swings.
He was hit by a pitch his first time up from Andy Pettitte on a pitch that was close to being a strike, and he's still right back there. Down the left field side, Robin Ventura, Spencer, Jeter. Ventura can't handle it, fair ball. Cedeno will stop at third. Spencer, the left fielder, couldn't get there. Ventura was going to have to make an over-the-shoulder catch. And what amazed me was Jeter didn't get there.
Yeah, why wasn't Spencer there, though? That ball was high enough for him to get there. It's impossible for Ventura. This is really a tough catch. Spencer wasn't even close. Jeter might have had a better shot. This is really a tough catch here.
You can see Cedeno checking on the ball, and Spencer not in the picture yet. There he comes. Jeter could have never gotten there. I was watching and thought potentially that Jeter could catch the ball, but it got so far down the third baseline. And they must have been playing Mo Vaughn so deeply and around towards center field that Spencer couldn't get there. Real tough play for Robin.
It goes as a base hit for Vaughn. The Mets now at first and third, one out, and Mike Piazza, scoreless game. Key moment for these two teams in this one. And that one is fouled off at the plate by Mike Piazza. Mike had a single his first time up, went down to second on an error that was charged to Jeter in the first inning when the Mets stranded 3 on the base paths. And now the fans get into it. Piazza won't get many infield base hits. He's got Cedeno at third, Mo Vaughn at first. Mike leads the Mets with a .340 average with runners in scoring position. And in RBIs, 39. Now Pettitte slows it down a little bit. And Jorge Posada wants to go up, make sure they've got the signs right here. How they want to work to Mike Piazza. Piazza's 4 for 13 with a home run off Andy Pettitte in his career. And as we mentioned before, he has torn up the Yankees in interleague play. And a lot of other people in the league for that matter. Pettitte trying to work his way out of this. One thing he can do, the ground ball double play. Pettitte's a sinker ball pitcher. Mike Piazza hits into a lot of double plays. 0-1 delivery is outside. A 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Got the feeling for a second there that Pettitte maybe did not want to pitch to Piazza. He had second base open. And that's why Posada went to the mound. Just to make sure that they're on the same page. You know exactly what exactly do you want to do in this situation? Where are we going to go?
Bounced it. Good play, Jorge Posada, to keep it in front of him.
Doesn't look like he wants to pitch to him, does it?
Sure might be easier if he walked him here.
Oh,
less dangerous.
I think he's going to try to. It's just going to take it a little bit longer. This is a 55-footer, whatever it is.
If you walk him here, though, you got the bases loaded and Alfonso coming up. He's hit left-hand pitching extremely well. No action in the Yankee bullpen at all, so I don't know. I can't believe they're walking there on purpose.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I just you're trying to figure out exactly what they're doing. Posada up at the 50 pitch mark now. Andy Pettitte up there.
2-ball, 1-strike count, 1 away. Runners off first and third base. Left-hander's pitch is foul back. Well, he came back after him there in a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
You know, Gary, what it could be, you have meetings, Mel Stottlemyre, whatever, get his pitchers together and say, okay, how are we going to go about this? And we talked about it in the opener about how Mike Piazza has killed the New York Yankees. And he said, well, okay, let's not give him a chance to beat us tonight. But I agree with Ralph in this situation. You got to pitch to him. You got a double play guy, you got second base, you don't want to put another man in scoring position.
You change the odds so much when you if you would walk him.
2-2 count. And Pettitte came back inside and missed with it, and the count goes to 3-2 in Piazza.
And now it comes to the point, does the pitcher give in? Andy Pettitte said, listen, I know Mike Piazza is a good fastball hitter.
I would say he will try to make a good pitch. If he walks him, take what counts.
This is kind of what we're talking about. This is almost like a free base on balls. You got a chance to get a changeup or a breaking ball here. I don't think he'll throw a fastball.
3-2. And he walked.
Fastball away.
Couldn't figure out in that at bat whether he really wanted to have something to do with him or not.
I think you're right here. I think it's that confusion after the first pitch. I think he was not sure exactly which way he wanted to go.
Well, this is the second time in the ball game the Mets have had the bases loaded. The first time Alfonso drew an intentional pass to load him up, and Burnett's grounded out with 2 down. Now Edgardo Alfonso will come to the plate with the bases loaded, no score. After getting that intentional pass, Cedeno singled. Vaughn got the base hit. And Mike Piazza drew the walk.
One thing here, a single would only drive on 1 run. Vaughn probably couldn't score from second if the ball's hit hard at an outfield.
Alfonso's 3rd best average against left-handers in the National League at .434 against lefties. And 5th with runners in scoring position. So you were just writing the script and you're the Mets. This is what you'd want. And it's down low from Andy Pettitte, ball 1. Now they start to squeeze together a little on the bench. Have a little discussion, I suspect, about Andy Pettitte. Torrey wants Stottlemyre maybe to come out. Now, Tom, is he more concerned here probably about what's happening right now or overall and how Pettitte feels?
I don't think he likes the way he pitched to Piazza, and he doesn't like the way he started to Edgardo. I think physically he thinks he's fine. Do you guys know what you're doing here? What are we going to do? We're going to try and get a double play. We're not going to walk people in. I think that's just to get back on track here, boys. You know, your wheels coming off the wagon. Let's trust our stuff and go after them.
Met fans, Pepsi invites you to show up at Shea on Wednesdays. Free admission to the Pepsi picnic area. First 800 fans with an empty Pepsi can or bottle will be admitted to the Pepsi picnic area free. Enjoy the amazing action from the left field bleachers. The Wednesday action continues June 19. The Mets and the Minnesota Twins at 7:10. So bring a Pepsi, show up at Shea for free. 1-0 count, 1 down. Discussion had. Edgardo Alfonso with the bases loaded in a scoreless game. Andy Pettitte's 1-0 pitch to him. Fouled right there at the plate. 1-1. Alfonso got a pretty good rip.
Big swing right here.
You talk about Gary being a perfect situation for the Mets. Talking about Alfonso against left-handers, and he is a contact hitter. He strikes out about 10% of the time. The other part of that, he's only grounded into 3 double plays all year for the Mets.
The situation entirely perfect for the Mets. Which is probably why it won't work, right?
The guy with back control. Yeah.
1-1 count. 1 down. And down low again. 2-1. Met base runners waiting. Jeremy Burnett's on deck. 25 pitches thrown by Pettitte in the inning. Working with Jorge Posada. The infield at double play depth. Cedeno outstanding speed at third. And again, Pettitte hesitates seemingly on what he wants to throw here. The 29-year-old left-hander is decided. And the 2-1 delivery is up high. 3-1.
The way things are going for the Mets, they don't want to walk here. I'm sure of that. They want a base hit and hopefully extra bases.
3-1 delivery. Alfonso takes the strike. 3-2.
Now you can really say they want a base hit.
Good battle engaged here in Andy Pettitte and Edgardo Alfonso. Sinker ball pitcher trying to get a ground ball here. Cedeno, Vaughn, and Piazza their leads. They'll have to do it again. Fouled off the body in the box.
Maybe in ball 4 on the inside part of the plate. Look at the Mets, Cedeno, Vaughn, and Piazza around from third to first. Too close to take. Take a look at the last pitch. 3-2 pitch. Too close to take.
Like Al Leiter, Pettitte has that cutter.
A little cutter in there. Looks like it might catch the strike zone and beat it down off your leg.
There is Al. 500 mark in the season now after a tough loss in Chicago. 3-ball, 2-strike count again. Bases loaded, 1 out. Alfonso takes it, and the Mets are on the board. Cedeno will score. Alfonso the RBI. Back-to-back walks to Mike Piazza and Edgardo Alfonso. And the first run of the ball game goes for the Mets. Alfonso fought off a couple of those 3-2 counts. Picks up his 18th run batted in. Now the bases remain loaded. And Jeremy Burnett grounded out his first time with the bases loaded in the first inning. That one gets away. Mo Vaughn's coming. Jorge Posada, no play. 2-0 Mets.
It looked like a cross-up. You could see Posada set up inside. Looked like he was set up for a fastball. And it looked like the breaking ball away. And it got by Posada. Mo Vaughn, good base running. As that ball gets by him, he's off for the races. And Big Mo with run number 2.
That'll go as a pass ball on Jorge Posada. And Mo Vaughn scores. Infield moves in. 1-0 delivery. Burnett's 1-1. Lead runner now is Mike Piazza, not fast. And Burnett's not close. Piazza at third base. Alfonso at second. 2-0 Met lead. 1-ball, 1-strike count on Jeremy Burnett. Slow roller and an off-speed pitch. 1-2.
Before April 28th and after, not good. You can see he has struggled mightily after April 28th. That is against left-handers, 0-9-7 against them. No RBIs and 11 punch-outs.
Overall, Jeremy's hitting only 172 in June. He's got an RBI chance here, a couple of them in fact. Mets on top, 2-0. 1-ball, 2-strike count from Andy Pettitte. And down low with it, 2-2.
Right here, a lot of things are going through Burnett's mind. There's no doubt about that. In the slump, having a real tough start. And he wants to make contact and get the run in. There's no doubt about that. But it's been a long time.
2-2 delivery to him. Broken bat, foul ball. Oh, he'll bring a new piece of lumber to the plate with him. He's been lifetime a .246 hitter against left-handers. About 20 points lower than against right-handers for his career numbers. But he's obviously nowhere near those career numbers against left-handers right now this season.
You can see him in that on-deck circle. He's had trouble losing the bat of late. He's trying to get a lot of pine tar in there. He's let some bats fly. They've gone into the stands. He's trying to improve his grip on that bat.
Yeah, but you lose that bat with bad swings, not with good swings.
Trying to give himself as much help as he can.
Yeah.
2-2 count. Runners at second and third. Infield stays in. Burnett's another foul ball. He has had a lot of towering pop-ups and shallow fly balls during the streak that he's been in, where he's not hitting the ball hard.
Hitting the bottom half of the ball. That swing. Keith Hernandez made a good point the other day about he's got one little spot in there that he can make contact. Doesn't have that level swing.
He's not on the plane of the ball long enough.
Not very long.
Battling here, 2-2. The infield creeping in even a little more. Foul back, Burnett's. Off Andy Pettitte, who's having a long inning. 35 pitches in the first two combined, 36 this inning. And that will obviously concern Stottlemyre and Joe Torre over there. Nobody warming up, at least not outside.
Well, he's throwing the ball with the same velocity that he started the game.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery again. And Burnett's again. Fights it off. Chris Chambliss is going to get a chance to know the hitters. He was with the Pittsburgh organization minor leagues. So he's having a chance here tonight. His first day as the hitting instructor for the Mets. To see what they look like. And obviously will take a while before venturing into the waters of trying to help. 2-2 delivery again, and this one is hit down the line and foul.
He's fighting these balls off, not with really good swings, but making some contact. And he's close to the plate there, and he's being jammed with those pitches.
Having to draw those hands back, and again, Jorge Posada goes out to talk with Andy Pettitte. Carlson wants to keep this thing going. The home plate umpire comes to get him. Mike Piazza still at third base. Reached on a walk, so did Edgardo Alfonso.
We're going to have to put some more grass in there on the way to the mound. Posada going out there that out.
Andy Pettitte hasn't pitched, as we said, since April. The major league level. So they're having to talk about it. 2-2 delivery again. And again fouled off 6 times. He has fouled off 2-2 pitches. It hasn't been pretty. But he's still at the plate.
Well, as Ralph said in the very first inning, good hitters, if they have good at-bats, will foul balls off and keep themselves alive until they get a pitch to hit.
He's had tough pitches to handle. Those have all been good pitches by Pettitte.
Try it again. 2-2 delivery. And a pop-up. First base foul territory. Giambi. Bobby Valentine has tried desperately not to rest him, to leave him in the lineups, to get the hits coming. Not yet.
There are 8 pitches at 2-2. Another real tough pitch to hit, and he's way out in front. Totally shifted his weight so far forward, and he pops the ball up.
Well, Pettitte really took something off of the breaking ball, and Burnett's way out in front. I think you're right, Gary, too. So he's got to, in order to break out of the slump, he's got to be in the lineup. He's got to get his at-bats, get out there 4 times and swing. He's one of the guys that you've counted on. You got to put him in right field. He's a foxhole player. He gives 120% every day and every inning and every play. But he needs at-bats to get out of this thing. And hopefully, Chris Chambliss will be able to help him.
Here is Jay Payton now. The Mets have picked up runs in the inning. 1 on a pass ball and 1 on a bases loaded walk. They've got 2 in scoring position, 2 down now. And Jay Payton, who singled his last time up, takes the cutter on the inside corner for a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
But look at the last pitch. A ball and no strike. Oh, looked like a little slider, a small breaking ball in the outside part. Jay sitting on fastball probably.
Payton has hit .238 off lefties, .252 off right-handers. 1-1 delivery to him. Fastball missed down low, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count from Andy Pettitte. A very long inning for him. Jeremy Burnett's even longer.
Well, first base is open right here, so we should not get a easy pitch to hit here.
2-1 delivery. And a ground to third. Robin Ventura, trouble getting it out of the glove, gets it there in time. So that will do it in the inning. The Mets are on the board. They get a couple of runs, doing it on 2 hits. Only 1 RBI, the other coming on that pass ball right there. Scores, move on. 2-0 Mets. June 14 of '87, Keith Hernandez, his 1,000th career run on a home run at Pittsburgh. This date in Mets history, brought to you by Jaguar.
And this day the Met history, just 10 years before that, there was a pitcher on the Mets that was being traded to Cincinnati. And it was the destruction of the Mets for years to come. And that young pitcher was named George Thomas Seaver.
Are you trying to get me to buy dinner tonight? Is that what
The darkest day in Met history was tomorrow.
Not forgotten by Met fans who lived through it.
25 years ago.
Wow,
It all took place in Atlanta, Georgia, and the argument was taking place by the swimming pool in the hotel in Atlanta. Remember that day?
you have a great memory, Ralph.
Well, the water was very hot that day.
Jorge Posada leading it off.
Tom Seaver was being traded away about this time on that day before. Trade took place the next day.
1-0 count. When did you find out about it?
Must have been the next day. I don't remember. It was 25 years ago. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
You don't remember being traded away from the Mets 25 years ago?
Can you believe that? Well, it brought in new management. That's what it led to.
Changed the course of history right here with the Mets.
You know, brought in new management. They brought in some new energy, new vigor, etc. Changed things around. Took a while, but it happened.
Trachsel's 2-1 pitch. Jorge Posada to center. And Jay Payton will put it away. 0 for 2. Couple of fly ball outs for the Yankee catcher.
The Mets got 4 players in that trade. Doug Flynn, a second baseman, not a bad player. Pat Zachary, a pitcher, right-handed pitcher, not a bad player. A young guy named Dan Norman who couldn't play a lick.
Be honest now.
And another guy named Ryan Thompson, right?
I don't remember. I
think it was Ryan. Yeah.
No,
who had a pretty good potential.
There was one outfielder in that trade.
Let's see, right? Who was the 4th guy? There's 4 guys in
Flynn.
that. I got that. Henderson.
Henderson's the one.
Was the other guy. Yeah,
Henderson. Dave Henderson?
Yeah.
Steve Henderson. Steve Henderson. That's
he had a pretty good potential.
And you know who came and thanked me when I got traded? Steve Henderson.
Really?
Absolutely. Next to when I went to the Reds and came back here and played, pitched against Jerry Koosman, Steve Henderson came over and thanked me. Because he was one of those prospects stuck behind all those guys with a big red machine. Said I'd have never gotten to the big leagues. And Geronimo and Griffey and Foster. How was I going to get to the big leagues? He said thank you, and he made a point of it. Come to me and say thank you very much
for getting traded.
For getting traded because you got me to the big leagues.
3-ball, 1-strike count on Robin Ventura. And Trachsel's pitch is up high. Ventura will draw the second walk surrendered by Trachsel. Comes with 1 down here in the 4th inning.
Getting a little chilly here, boys.
It's getting cold. The rain has let up a good deal, but the wind has picked up and continues to blow from left to right and harder.
Now this becomes an issue where the Met players in the field as slowly as Trachsel pitches. And they've said things about it. It becomes uncomfortable, and it is cold, and the wind is blowing. And When your feet get wet out in that outfield, and it's a very slow-paced game, you can get some bad defense played behind you.
Vanderwall to first. That's one. Got to put a tag at second. Did. There's a double play you won't see very often.
How about that?
Robin Ventura, I don't know if he realized what was going on. There's the tag, so now you got to put a tag on. Ventura trying to move away from the ball. Did not make a very strong effort to the bag, and Ordonez a good deal colder. The umpires also got wet, so between innings they went in to change tops because with the temperature going down, you did not want to be freezing out there and soaking tops. You see, though, most of the water's out of the air. And there's some nice dry top covers for them and the pullovers. And Andy Pettitte goes back to work in what probably will be his final inning here as Ray Ordonez leads it off. Pettitte has been effective. A couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, 1 intentional. Walks got him in trouble in that 3rd inning. Ordonez takes the fastball inside, 1-1. Ray's 3 for 7 lifetime off Andy Pettitte. He'll be followed by Trachsel and then Cedeno at the top of the order. 1-1. That's on the inside corner. Ordonez is hitting just 174 off left-handers this year. Almost 100-point hires off right-handers. Pettitte's a tough left-hander for the righties with that cut stuff that comes inside. Base hit, batted off in the left. So the Mets have another leadoff single. Leadoff man on 3 out of 4 innings now for New York. A reminder tomorrow on the WB11, Eddie Murphy is a street smart hustler. Dan Aykroyd is a Wall Street whiz. But when their lives get switched, things get out of hand. And it'll take Jamie Lee Curtis to get them back on track. Don't miss Trading Places tomorrow, 8 p.m. only on the WB11. Steve Trachsel. Ordonez on at first base. Everybody looking bunt. Squares, he does, and it's a good one. Giambi, Soriano covered. Sacrifice for Trachsel.
Perfectly executed by Steve Trachsel. He's a good athlete and a good bunter. Down there making Giambi make the play. You can see Soriano coming over for second. And no chance at the runner at second base. Perfect sacrifice.
He leads the Mets now in sacrifices with 6. And creates the RBI chance for Cedeno. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2. A 2-0 Met lead, out hitting the Yankees 5-2 so far. And a strike taken by Cedeno. Cedeno's now had 5 hits in 10 at-bats against the left-hander Andy Pettitte. Ordonez in scoring position at second base. And as we mentioned before, in a base hit, wet outfield, those runners going to be waved around if there's any chance. Inside with it. A 1-ball, 1-strike count.
This lineup that Bobby Valentine has set up today is the same lineup they used opening day this year. This was the lineup he thought was going to be the lineup that would score a lot of runs.
And one of the biggest surprises in Major League Baseball is the fact that this lineup hasn't done that. That lineup they hoped was going to give speed, power, and a lot more offense.
That's the one they took for granted coming out of spring training.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing that they thought they would do. They thought they played defense well, and they have not played good defense so far this year.
They are 12th in runs, and the numbers offensively that really hurt the Mets. They are 16th in slugging, dead last, and 14th in on-base percentage. That has got to change for the Mets to win. They are a game under 500 coming into this ball game against the Yankees. A 1-ball, 2-strike count on Cedeno. Ordonez at second base. Andy Pettitte's overhander bore in on him and struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Pettitte.
Looked like the fastball down and in, and Cedeno right over the top of it. 41st time that Cedeno has punched out this year. Too many for a leadoff hitter. That's one of the reasons why that lineup that Bobby had the first game of the season did not last, because you had too many strikeouts up at the top of the lineup.
Now Roberto Alomar with 2 down turns on that one and fouls it off. Alomar has struck out and grounded out, and 0 for 2 in the ball game. That's lead it by a score of 2-0 in the opener of the series against the Yankees. And Andy Pettitte looking to get the final out on his return from the disabled list. He and Steve Trachsel, for the most part, been able to hold these hitters off on the rainy, cold night. That one came inside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Well, the Yankees will have to be happy, I would think, with the performance they've seen from Andy Pettitte, not having pitched since April 15.
Well, he's right about 92 or 93 pitches so far, and maybe he's got the 100 pitch limit. He did have the 4 starts in the minor leagues.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Got to stay warm as the night rolls on.
Where did summer go, they say, huh?
Short summer.
Disappeared, didn't it?
He's throwing the wall right now.
Raring back with what he's got left here. Andy Pettitte, 1-2 count. Ordonez off second base. Just fouled back as Alomar reached out to get it.
There's Pettitte. The total pitches 93. Good ratio of 35 out of the strike zone to his 58 strikes.
15 and 10 last year. Checks Ordonez and the 1-2. 2 ball, 2 strike count to Roberto Alomar.
Got that funny big kick from the left side, Ralph, you know. I mean, when he's hitting right-handed against the left-handers.
Get that front foot up high and down. The main thing is to get it down at the right time.
2-2 delivery to him. Pettitte has had some battles in this game. Some of these Met hitters. Ordonez remains out there at second after getting the leadoff single. Alomar's had a good month of June so far, hitting .326. That's more like the Roberto Alomar Mets hope to see, and the Roberto Alomar of numbers past. 2-2 pitch to him. Alomar reached center field. Bernie Williams, and that will end the inning. So no run. You have the right relationship. So Andy Pettitte completing his work here tonight in the dugout, talking with pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre. Saw Sterling Hitchcock up for the Yankees. Pettitte will be due up second here, and they'll have a pinch hitter ready to go as Steve Trachsel works to Shane Spencer, who singled his only time up. Trachsel has walked 2 and struck out 5 in the ball game. Coming off an outing against Cleveland, an 8-6 win, and he did get the win in that game. Andy Pettitte coming off the DL with the elbow problems. And Mel Stottlemyre going, good job. Even though he's down 2-0. Check swing, he could not hold back on, and it's fouled back for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Spencer 2-1. And Trachsel right there with a fastball. He's been able to keep Yankee hitters a little off stride so far in this game, Tom. They've been looking one thing and getting something else.
Well, he's been getting his breaking ball over and getting his splitter over. You throw pitches for strikes, and hitters can't sit on one pitch. And he has proven to the Yankees that he has thrown some outstanding curveballs here today, this evening. And he's gotten those splitters over, those ones that are going down and away for the left-hand hitters. When you establish that you can throw everything for strikes, and the hitter doesn't have to eliminate a pitch, well, I don't have to worry about the curveball, or I don't have to worry about the slider, makes things much more effective. And he's had outstanding location tonight.
He's got a 2-2 count here on Spencer, and a breaking ball that misses up high, 3-2.
He's only made about 4 mistakes, and each time he's made it, it's been fouled off. Sometimes rather be lucky than good. But the Yanks have not been able to capitalize on the very few mistakes that Trachsel has made. There's one right there. There's a 3-2 pitch or a fastball hitter that's right down Broadway, and it's fouled back.
Spencer's looking fastball here. It's right down in his alley.
I mean, that's right on the crosshairs right there, and he missed it. Steve has real good stuff tonight as well, and that's why the ball is fouled off and not put into play.
3-2 delivered to Spencer again. Did he go? They check no. It's a walk. Leadoff man on for the Yankees in the 5th.
Sometimes it pays to be strong. Shea Spencer is very strong, and they held up on that swing. That bat hit didn't go across the baseline going to first base.
Ron Comer is the pinch hitter. Andy Pettitte out of the ball game. The leadoff man on. Comer 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Only 52 at bats, but 3 homers and 6 RBIs for him. Sterling Hitchcock remains active in the bullpen. Comer. Spencer on at first base, and the Mets up 2-0. Not a big lead at first. And Comer gets into one. Left center field. Payton's there. And will put it away. Oh, Comer doesn't take long in his pinch hitting role and flies out. 1 down. Our Toyota line score 2-5-1 for the Mets. 0-2-1 for the Yankees.
First pitch and going right after it. Just a little bit out in front, Ralph.
And he skies it to center field. The runner at first base, Spencer, comes back to first to tag up, hoping to go to second on the laxness of the Mets, but it was throwing in well. Is that a word, laxness?
That's a good word. Here's Alfonso Soriano. The leadoff batter is struck out and grounded out. 9th best average in the American League. Trachsel with a runner at first and 1 away.
Has he got some bat speed?
Does he tear into it?
He gets it around pretty good, doesn't he?
We talk about certain things in the ballpark that will catch your attention, and watch bat speed. We're talking about velocity going through the hitting zone. Now he has gone after pitches that have been right in on his fist, thinking that he can hit them tonight, and hasn't been able to do anything with them. But that's as good a bat speed right there as you're ever going to see.
Tiger Woods right there.
Woo!
Guess that club going pretty fast too.
Soriano with a 1-strike count. And you can see how aggressive he is. Our good friends at Elias came up with an interesting number. Tom, you talked about the fact coming into the game he had 8 walks and 66 strikeouts. Since 1900, only 2 players in a season where they've had 500 at bats have struck out 8 times for every walk. Sean Dunston in '97. He had a 9.4-to-1 ratio, and Juan Encarnacion of the Tigers, who was 8-to-1 in strikeouts to walks. The Soriano's right there with them in over 100 years. He just doesn't wait. I mean, he just attacks the baseball. Don't even think about walking me, because I'm not going there.
He likes that sound when he hits it on the sweet spot.
2-strike count here. Up high, 1 ball, 2-strike count. Soriano. There's the ratio we were talking about. 8.3 strikeouts for every walk that he gets. And over the last 100 years, only Dunston and Encarnacion have had numbers like that. As long as you're hitting 300, though, nobody cares.
Yeah, you can get away with that 300 with 15 home runs and 40 runs batted in.
That'll work. 1-2 delivery to him, and he puts that one to left field in a golf shot that will be caught by Cedeno.
Well, this was really a good play. The ball was a sinking line drive. Had top spin on it, and you could see the ball was tumbling right on down. That's a tough catch. He makes the play right in the webbing.
You don't get the jump on that immediately, Ralph. You don't get it.
Well, it can go forever then. Good play.
And there are 2 down. That'll bring up Dereck Jeter, who has singled and reached on an error. At his first hit off Trachsel in his last at bat after having gone 0 for 7. Still at first, Spencer drew the walk. Not a speedy base runner. 2 down. Trachsel's breaking ball really over the top on that one is outside. Ball 1.
Another look at the breaking ball, as Gary's talking about, right over the top. He gets that spin going straight down. That's the old Ralph Kiner 12-6.
12-6, yeah.
The old drop.
The old overhand drop. The slop drop.
Spencer back to the bag. Keep in mind what Trachsel's doing here against the ball club that gets 49% of its runs on home runs. If they continued that way, they would set a new franchise record in percent of runs scored on homers. And it's saying something when you're talking about Bronx Bombers. Trachsel's been able to keep it down low. Runner goes. Piazza's going to throw a one-hopper. Not in time. Got him. Came off the bag. Spencer's going to argue with Mark Hirschbeck, and he's going to lose. And the Yankee inning is over. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. Alomar on the bag, off the bag, tagged. See ya.
At second base, good call by Mark Hirschbeck at second base. I think he was out.
I think he got his hand before it got down to the bag, yeah.
So Jeter will lead off the inning. He was at the plate when Spencer went out here. Does he get his hand underneath the glove?
Whoops. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Missed him by a fingernail.
Webby thought he was going to try and hide that replay from us, didn't he?
Yeah.
That showed that he was out. And I think he contemplated not showing it down there, too.
Our director, once again, inciting a riot here inside the booth. Nothing unusual there. Here is Sterling Hitchcock, 31-year-old left-hander, out of the bullpen with Andy Pettitte done and Mo Vaughn up against him. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Vaughn has had a single on a bloop down the line his last time up and scored, and he's been hit by a pitch. Andy Pettitte charged with the 2 runs on 5 hits.
Now, Gary, while we have a minute here, I'd like to plug a book. Andy North, who's broadcasting the Open up in Long Island, has written a book called The Long and the Short of It. And Andy I played with in the Heritage one year. One of the tallest players to play golf and a really good player. Won 2 National Opens and also won at Westchester. And the book written by a friend of mine, Burton Rocks, is worth reading. Talks about Palmer and all the old timers in his era of playing.
Down to first, knocked down Giambi. Vaughn retired. Long and the short of it right there was Giambi. Getting down on that ball, hit fairly hard, but Adam.
One of the things about just Giambi when he came to the Yankees was that I want to play every day. I don't want to be DH. Not known for his defense. And there's a situation right there. Not only a good physical play, but he knew the speed of the runner going down there, that he had plenty time to get back to first base. That's fine play.
Mike Piazza. Piazza with a single and has drawn a walk. A 2-0 lead for the Mets. Wind continues to blow in and over towards right. Tough to drive a ball out of here right now, at least. Yankees continue to bring the left-handers in against the Mets. It's where the Mets have had their biggest problems on the year hitting-wise. Trying to get something off lefties. Batting was .217 against left-handers on the season.
We talked about Mike having outstanding numbers against the New York Yankees, and he has done well against Sterling Hitchcock. It's over 400. Is a couple of home runs against him. He's going to have to be a big fella to hit one out here tonight. Cold weather, wind blowing in.
It's the way the Yankees have been hitting home runs. Kind of favors the Mets in that department. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery. And that one's going to be a base hit into left field. So Piazza's on again. 2 singles and a walk. That one comes with one away here in the 5th inning. Our trivia question tonight brought to you by Dodge about the 10 players who played the most games in New York in a New York uniform. We are down now to 2, 3, and 4 on the list, and they are Lou Gehrig, Zach Wheat, and Mickey Mantle.
Or you knew number 7 was in there. He had to be in there, right?
Zach Wheat, I would not have remembered.
I don't think I'd have gotten that.
He was a great player for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Gehrig, we knew would be there. Now there's one left. Most games, all-time high, playing baseball in a New York uniform for any of the New York teams.
Don't know.
I don't know either.
Don't know.
Wasn't Wally Pitt. He was the guy that was taken out of the lineup for Lou Gehrig.
That was the end of that. Popped up by Edgardo Alfonso, the third base. Robin Ventura in fair territory puts it away. 2 down.
Was Berra on the list yet? He was on
yes.
there.
On that list.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about Rizzuto?
Yes.
He wasn't on the list.
That's my guess. I'm going Rizzuto. Did he play long enough?
What did it say?
Played in a New York uniform.
Well, Frank Rossetti was there forever as a shortstop and a coach. But he didn't, of course, he played. He coached many, many years.
So we've got the Scooter.
I'm going Scooter.
And Rossetti. Corsetti.
I can see those Thorne wheels turning in there. I can see them.
There are no wheels. Jeremy Burnitz is 0 for 2. Fouls that one back off the top of the mask. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
There are 2 thinking I can see it. I can see the smoke coming.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there was a shortstop that played for the Yankees that at one time held the consecutive game record. I can't think of his name. It was before Gary. He didn't know he wouldn't have played that many games.
1-1 delivery. Ooh. Fooled badly by Sterling Hitchcock.
Looking fastball, got the curveball.
Body language will tell you everything. Yes, Chris Chambliss. That's one of your pupils right there. And he needs some help.
That one fouled off. Stays at 1 and 2. Back to first base will come Mike Piazza. Jay Payton in the on-deck circle. Hitchcock has a good splitter. Fastball, changeup. Throw a breaking ball, curveball. He had a tough time regular season last year. Went into the postseason and pitched some fine baseball for the Yankees. 1-2 count on Emir. Ooh, right in the helmet. And Jeremy Burnett's, you could hear the helmet. Looked like it might have been a breaking ball he was
I
throwing.
thought it was fastball.
Was it?
I thought it was a breaking ball. I thought it was a curveball. Bobby Valentine out there and got on the infield side of him.
It looked to me as a fastball, and now the warning goes out. Anybody that throws at the batter in the umpire's eyes will be thrown out of the game, and the managers will go to Torrey being told that, and the umpires believe that was an intentional throw of the batter pitch. The count was 1 ball or 2 strikes, and really the only person that knows is the pitcher.
Mike Piazza, of course, would be the base runner, moves to second. Umpires talking to Joe Torre. Torre didn't think a warning was needed there. Obviously, tomorrow's game, Clemens Piazza
This
weighs
will
into
really,
everything.
Will add fuel to the fire for tomorrow.
No question it got him. You could hear it all over the stadium.
No question about that. All a fastball.
Now the home plate umpire's gone to talk to Valentine. Torrey's shaking his head over there, doesn't like it because it just generates more discussion.
He doesn't like it. How about Burnett's?
He really doesn't like it. But he's out there. Jeremy did not have to come out of the game. So Burnett's remains on. Now first and second, Mets leading 2-0. There are 2 down. Jay Payton singled and is grounded out. The screwball there, 0-1.
I thought it was a breaking ball. Great replay showed it was a fastball. Right behind the back of the head. Now watch Posada behind home plate. Setting up inside.
Yeah, he's really inside.
Like, oh man.
I don't do that. I mean, that's the umpire going over and say, okay, that's a warning. That definitely comes from the league. There's no question about that. Anything happens, boom. You know, put the handcuffs on everybody and just get it off the table. Say nobody's throwing, or you're going to be gone from the game. Because that's you're down by 2 runs. You got a runner at first base.
And you got a guy who's not hitting.
Not hitting. He hit. It's you know. But so it had to come from the league, Major League Baseball.
So both sides have been warned. Mike Piazza had to be standing out there going, oh man. Jay Payton with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And another turnover pitch, 1-2. It's got great movement away.
Not even close to the strike zone.
No, there's no way in the world you can swing at those balls and expect to be given a chance to get a base hit.
5th inning, 1-ball, 2-strike count. Sterling Hitchcock on for Andy Pettitte. First inning of work for him. 1-2 delivery. Payton the other way to right field. Vanderwalt, when blowing it over, will haul it in. So no runs, 1 hit. Again, the Mets leave 2 on as the Mets continue to pile up base runners. Fortunately, the man hit by that pitch, Jeremy Burnett's, shaking his head saying,
good line all the way around for Trachsel. 5 innings, only 2 hits. Leads 2-0, and Pettitte, good 4 innings, 5 hits.
The fans are urging Trachsel to hit Jeter. There is no way, in my opinion, a warning should ever have been given. I don't think Hitchcock was throwing at the batter intentionally. But secondly, it eliminates any chance the Mets pitcher has even to come inside. And you see, as Trachsel came out, the home plate umpire talked to him.
That's what this whole rule has done. It's been putting handcuffs on pitchers for ever since it was put into effect. You take away the inside part of the plate. Part of the whole problem with Mike Piazza, Roger Clemens. You take away the inside part of the plate, hitters do not get uncomfortable. Hitters begin to dive into the ball, and then all of a sudden you find a pitcher that throws the ball on the inside part of the plate. And Ralph knows what I'm talking about. They don't know how to get out of the way of the ball. One, they don't expect it. It's such a surprise, the ball that's in and off the plate.
Well, one thing about the rule that's been put in is the fact that now it puts the game in the hands of the umpires. And one of the things the umpires have done, they've done this ruling in situations where it really doesn't figure that the pitcher is throwing at the batter. In that case, you don't figure at all. You can't be perfect, but you certainly don't figure he's going to try to have Burnett, so he hasn't been hitting it at all with a runner on first base and one out.
The right-hand hitter in
And the Mets are leading 2-0. Yeah, it doesn't figure.
That came from the league office or Major League Baseball office. And first time anything happens, boom, put the handcuffs on. How you change the whole context of the game?
Broke his bat. Jay Payton in center field. And Jeter's retired. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game now. One away in the 6th inning. Yankees have been held to just 2 hits in this game. A Jeter single that came in the 3rd, and a Spencer single in the 2nd. Jason Giambi up. He has struck out and walked in the game. Trachsel, it hasn't been quick and sometimes not pretty, but he's got a 2-hit shutout going with 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Giambi with a homer cut.
Big cut by Giambi on the breaking ball or the splitter. All going away from Giambi, probably the splitter. All-speed pitch way out in front.
Roberto Alomar pulled way over on the left-handed hitter, and it goes up the middle the other way. So Giambi's on with a single. His first hit of the ball game and the 3rd hit for the Yankees. He's got a 5-game hit streak now.
Every fastball to Giambi has been on the outside part of the plate. There's another one, and Giambi, I think, had made up his mind. I'm not going to try and pull that pitch. He got the off-speed pitch, the first pitch, and had the big swing. He pulled his swing back a little bit. Fastball away. I'm going up the middle. Exactly what you're talking about, Gary. But Roberto Alomar pulled way around toward first. There was a big hole up the middle for him.
That will bring up Bernie Williams. One down, runner at first. Williams has grounded out and struck out. Power part of the order up for the Yankees. Steve Trachsel. And a timeout, Williams. Bernie Williams, Alfonso Soriano, and Jason Giambi in the month of May were 1, 2, 3 in home runs in the American League. That just doesn't happen. The last time 3 players led the league in home runs from the same team was 1950. Berra, DiMaggio, and Johnny Mize. That's how hot they were in May with the long ball.
Wow. And you think about it, really with the Giants and not the Yankees.
Very much so.
At the end of his career, he did finish up with the Yankees.
And a 2-0 count on Bernie Williams. Jorge Posada waiting on deck. Mets bullpen getting ready. As you saw, Trachsel needs help here. Guthrie, the left-hander. With Posada switch hitter, then Ventura, then Vanderwall, a left-handed hitter, due up. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Williams fooled again. Foul tipped it into the mitt.
Good off-speed pitch right here. Rattles around the glove.
Nothing to hit there.
Straight change. Haven't seen too many of those tonight. That's a new. Pitch we've heard from Steve Trachsel, most of his off-speed pitches have been the splitter.
Two ball, one strike count with one down. Not a big lead at first. Inside to Bernie Williams. 3-1. Charlie Huff, the pitching coach, pacing a bit now. Guthrie's going to be ready if needed.
Well, Trachsel averages about 5.5 innings pitched per start. Mark Guthrie in the bullpen. He's just over 100 pitches so far.
5 strikeouts, equaling a high he had earlier a couple of games ago against Atlanta. 3-1 count to Bernie Williams. And that one looped to left. Cedeno. 2 down. Big out there for Trachsel to get Bernie Williams.
Big out on a big count, too. 3 balls and 1 strike. But granted, we talked about it can be difficult to hit the ball out of here this evening. And Shea, with the wind blowing in, a cold evening, got the pitch on the outside part of the plate. No way you're going to get the ball out from the left field if you're a left-hand hitter here tonight. I would not think, with the way the wind is blowing in. And he was out in front, a little soft semi-line drive to Roger Cedeno on left.
Now Jorge Posada up with 2 down and a runner on at first base as that wind continues to pick up, and it is cold.
And Steve Trachsel in short sleeves.
Yeah. As he started this game. The breaking ball is fouled off. Trachsel all but falling over to first base on that one. Numbers you see, lefty righty for Jorge Posada. Watch Trachsel.
I think Trachsel was off thinking the ball was going to be in play on that side. See him going? He was actually on balance thinking the ball might be a fair ball over there down the line.
Did a little skip hop over there.
He gets himself in good fielding position. He does a little crow hop and gets his balance back.
Got a 1 strike count on the Yankee catcher. And a little bit outside. Posada takes it to 1-1. Posada coming into the season a .268 career hitter. A little better than that last year, .277. He led American League catchers in batting average and RBIs last year. A 1 ball, 1 strike count. Outside, and it goes to 2-1. Ventura on deck. Charlie Huff wants to see him get through here because Trachsel is due up in the bottom half of the inning. He'd be the second man to come to the plate. If he can get the outs here, save the Mets from having to make a pitching change and then pinch hit. Two-one count. Kind of looks like that high strike they were getting earlier in the game.
And again, a 3-1 count. Real hitter's count right here, and Posada certainly can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Three-one delivery, runner off first base, and he walked it. The 4th walk surrendered by Trachsel will keep the Yankee inning alive and force the Mets to make a decision now or wait. 2 on, 2 down. And Robin Ventura coming up. And they send Alomar over to talk to Trachsel. Looks like to draw some more time here. Now Piazza's going out.
And that's against a guy that's pitching a 2-hit shutout, too.
Yeah.
Well, it's either a stall for time or make sure exactly you know what you want to do. Charlie Huff normally makes Trachsel about 110. And Charlie Huff out of the dugout's going to go to the umpire. I don't think Steve Trachsel's going to like this.
It'd be a double switch.
He would like to have had the chance against Robin Ventura to finish out the inning, but he's not going to get it. Timo Perez will be coming into the ball game. Steve Trachsel will be leaving it to a fine hand from the Mets fans. Moment, our Dodge trivia question: the 10 players who have played the most games in a New York baseball uniform. We have showed you the top 9. Who's number 1? Mel Ott.
Why didn't we think of it?
Because it's cold.
Came to the major leagues as a 16-year-old baseball player and hit 511 home runs.
So there you go, the top 10 in a New York baseball uniform, with Mel Ott the leader.
Guess the scooter wasn't in, huh?
Guess the scooter didn't make it. Mark Guthrie. He worked on the 11th.
You know, if you counted the Scooters games on broadcasting the Yankee games, he'd be head and shoulders above.
Combined the 2. Runners at first and second base. 2 down. Robin Ventura. Mark Guthrie pitched in the 11th against the White Sox. Not the Indians, the White Sox. Worked an inning effectively. Faces Robin Ventura here. Mets leading it by a score of 2-0. Ventura takes the pitch down low, and it's a 2-0 count. 3 for 19 in his career against Guthrie. Ventura this season has tacked left-handers. 341. Go figure. 341 off left-handers and 216 off right-handers. Explain that. 2-0 delivery. Gets away. Runner's got to move up. One will. Both going down to second base. And having to stop was Jorge Posada because Giambi stopped in front of him, and then Giambi started again.
Ball gets away from Mike Piazza right off the end of the glove, the slider. And that should be a pass ball, I would think. Indecision going to third was Giambi. And actually good base running at second base by Posada, as he kept his eye on the runner in front of him so you don't get tangled up at second base. That's good base running right there.
That is a pass ball. Let's see how large that looms. Now there are 2 in scoring position, and Ventura's got a 3-0 count. And Guthrie walks him on 4 straight to load the bases. 2 of them the responsibility of Trachsel. Now John Vanderwall's due up. He's not going to hit here. The Mets have bullpen action as Rondell White is announced as the pinch hitter for Vanderwall, who went 0 for 2. Guthrie brought in to get the left-hander out. Now we'll face Rondell White with the bases loaded. Scott Strickland getting ready for the Mets in the bullpen. Rondell White, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. He's got Giambi on, who singled. A walk to Jorge Posada and a walk to Robin Ventura, and that will bring Charlie Huff out. Randy Neiman asking Strickland whether he's ready, and there's the sign to get him in. So Guthrie will have worked no part of an inning, gave up a walk. And Strickland will come on with the bases loaded. I'm not sure.
That's guessing. It's purely a guess. And
having been a member of the United States Army.
Having been a former member of the United States Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Which is celebrating, what, 57 years, U.S. Army? They were represented here at the ballpark tonight. That's 227. United States Army.
Sorry, I can't tell you about this.
Just wanted to let you know.
I will give you that answer next week.
I know you will.
What's the point of this? I was in the Navy, so I don't have. I just want to find out what's going on.
The Army's older than the Marines.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was the point. I wanted Seaver to know that to make sure he
the
understood.
Navy's older than the Marines.
Marines
are a
are part of the
division of the Navy.
Which they've always loved. Strickland, a bases loaded situation. There are 2 down. Big cut and a miss.
Big fastball up and in. Perfect pitch by Strickland.
Roberts not close. Double switch hitter here with Johnson up at the plate. 0-2 delivery to him. Up high. Well, White never got up as the Mets made that pitching change. With the bases loaded, 1-2 count, 2 down, 2-0 lead for the Mets. Nick Johnson, who can hit the long ball, fouls it off. Another very aggressive hitter.
Looked like a fastball up and away. Not too much up, but it was away. Good movement going away from him. Good job, fouled it off, keep himself alive. That was a good pitch by Strickland. He's made 2 beautiful pitches here. One up and in, one running away from him.
Johnson has 3 home runs month of June so far. That one comes inside to him. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Sacks full for the Yankees. The Mets have the 2-0 lead. Only 1 is scored. That in the last outing on the road trip. Trachsel responsible for 2 of them on the bases and popped it up. Shortstop Ordonez. He got it. No runs, 1 hit. Yankees leave the bases loaded. Mendoza out as Hitchcock worked an inning and gave up 1 hit. The Mets getting their runs in the oddest of ways in this game. On a bases loaded walk and a pass ball, both coming in the 3rd inning. Steve Trachsel, 5 2/3, no runs, 3 hits. Chance to win the game. He is 4-6 on the year. And August has come into play in right field now as Vanderwall came out of the ball game for a pinch hitter, Rondell White, and White never got to the plate. The Yankees had to double switch it. Ramiro Mendoza. Ray Ordonez leading it off for the Mets. And he foul tips that one at the plate. Ordonez in the ball game with a 1 for 2. Mets have had the better chances of it offensively in this ball game. Mendoza's breaking balls outside. With the Mets bases loaded, left in the 1st inning, and 8 left total. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mendoza's big breaking ball foul back. You got Ray Ordonez to chase that one up high. Mel Stottlemyre's getting the outing from Andy Pettitte in his first start, coming off the DL. 4 innings. Hitchcock an inning. Both runs charged to Pettitte that have been scored. That just missed the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's trying to get out of a 2-game losing streak here in this opener against the Yankees.
Well, they went on that horrific road trip. It seemed as if they were on the road forever. At least they'll be home for a little while now.
Ray Ordonez. Let's take a look at the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. The game this afternoon. Montreal has won. They stay hot. They're in the 10th in Florida. Baltimore leading Philadelphia in the 8th inning. Atlanta beat Boston. 6th inning in Milwaukee. These are games in other time zones still going on. Grounded to second base. Timo Perez first at bat. Soriano makes the play. And there are 2 down. St. Louis shutting out Kansas City. Mets will play Kansas City. Cleveland lead over Colorado. Only in the 4th there, though. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. That was the National League game. Leadoff batter Cedeno, 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. 2 down. Takes the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. 2 down, nobody on here in the 6th. Cedeno, as we saw in the road trip, changing up on the swing he's taking, looking more and more like he's just trying to punch the ball to left field.
Make contact. With his speed, he's got to put the ball in play. He strikes out too much. His number of times that he strikes out, we talked about it earlier. He struck out once in the game here tonight. He's already struck out 41 times this year.
Well, one big thing about Cedeno, they were looking for the stolen base from him, and he's had only 7. And you can't steal first. Big stolen base in this game after the single in the 3rd, put a runner at second base and nobody out. And it was a big stolen base that set up the 2 runs for the Mets.
Hitting .241, he grounds out to short. Jeter hustles it over and gets the out. Well, Mendoza comes on and retires. The Mets in order. We've completed 6.
Down. How do you become one that gets the reputation of an outstanding defensive player? That's how, by expecting the unexpected. Now that ball should have hopped up and given another little bounce to Jeter, and it did not, but he's kept the glove down, because you can always come up on the ball. It's easy to come up on the ball. You see Trachsel in right field now for the Mets, but that was a fine play by Jeter. Got a good grip on that ball, as you can see. Threw out a speedy base runner.
Shane Spencer sends it down the other line, and it'll end up in the seats. Scott Strickland stays on for the Mets, coming on and getting the final out in the 6th inning. Yankees have been shut out only once this year. They are being shut out here by the Mets. Trachsel got 3 who worked no part of an inning, gave up a walk, and Strickland, who has worked a 1/3 of an inning so far. The Yankees have been held to just 3 hits in the ball game. 3 singles. Jeter, Spencer, Giambi. Scott Strickland's got a 1-2 count on Shane Spencer. Talk about a double clutch. Started to swing, held up, swung again.
Now you've got somebody that throws in the mid-90s with his fastball, all of a sudden pulls a string with a breaking ball. And Spencer totally fooled. Spencer is really strong.
1-2. Line to short. Ray Ordonez. 1 away here in the 7th inning. Tomorrow on the WB11, an underwater expedition discovers a new life form and unleashes a new form of terror. Peter Weller stars in Leviathan or Leviathan tomorrow at 11:30, only on the WB11. Jaguar. Potato.
Are you take a look at the line drive to Ray Ordonez, top spin, the ball coming down to him. He said, I don't have to go quite up as far as I thought I was going to have to get up that ladder.
Just reach up with my glove. Marcus Thames fouls it back. First at bat, Major League career, home run, Randy Johnson. And only the Elias Sports Bureau could come up with this. He is the first player in Major League history, in his first at bat, to have a home run off a reigning Cy Young winner. What field am I playing, said Timo. I think I'll take left.
Timo says, I'll take them all.
2 down. I couldn't help it. The wind was blowing. I didn't want to cut you off, but hey, I'm the center fielder.
Timo is a very aggressive outfielder in center field. I mean, he calls everybody off. He calls the warden off. He doesn't care. Well, the wind's coming this way. I got it. Don't worry. I got you covered. I know what it is. And Cedeno says, all yours, big boy. You're the captain in center field. You got him.
Where did he come from? Alfonso Soriano's had an 0 for 3 in this ball game. He is grounded out, struck out, and flied out. The Mets maintaining that 2-0 lead they got in the 3rd inning. 7 left on by the Yankees, including the bases loaded in the 6th. And the Yankees getting a look at Scott Strickland rearing back and firing.
Fastball on the outside part of the plate against a hitter who has an outstanding bat speed. And Strickland won that battle. Threw the ball right by him away. Nasty.
Phew.
That is nasty stuff. It's the fellow that was going to be the closer up in Montreal. He's a setup man here, and he's a dandy. Strickland, got great stuff.
You can see why he was marked as a closer. He's got 2 down here, nobody on. Soriano with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. In the dirt, and it goes to 2-2. Not bad. Jeter waiting on deck to have somebody like Strickland. Very fortunate, in fact. You've got somebody who can move into a closer role if you ever needed that. With Armando Benitez, of course, the Mets closer. But if needed, Strickland could jump into that role in an emergency in a hurry. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Timeout taken at the plate by Soriano.
Well, it's happened a couple times this year already, Gary. Remember when Armando had that finger that he caught in the door, etc. Couldn't make the call, couldn't get to the mound. A few days in which he wasn't able to pitch.
And he got him. Overmatched Soriano on that at bat. The song just kept on going.
He came in from Las Vegas yesterday
and did his whole act.
And he said, you didn't tell me that it was still winter here in New York. What are you guys doing?
Roberto Alomar leads it off. We interrupt this round, Jack, for a game. Alomar hitting at 269. Vaughn and Piazza to follow. Alomar's 0 for 3. 0 for 4. 1 away in the 7th inning. Mendoza on to hold him down.
Get in position to field your position when the ball hit back through the middle. That's exactly what Mendoza does. Keeping the glove in front of the body. Saw that a couple of times tonight, how important that is for a pitcher.
Broken bat, Mo Vaughn. Now everybody's wondering, wonder what they're going to do with that.
Not much left in Mo's hands there, huh?
Nope.
Gary, we got a second. What I want to do is say hello and send our best to Terry Tata, former Major League umpire. He's recuperating up in the Cape in Massachusetts. We send him our best. He's had open heart surgery and is doing fine, by the way, doing fine.
Great to hear. Terry's all right.
Just send along our best to you, Terry. He listens to our games up there. Gets it?
Where they play some good summer baseball in the Cape Cod League.
Absolutely. Got some Army people that go there and play.
A 2-ball, 1-strike count, said the Marines.
They have some old Army people that go there and play.
Vaughn hitting at 232 right now. Piazza on deck. Mendoza's got 1 away here in the 7th inning. And taken the other way in a foul ball. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Vaughn. Hit by a pitch, single, and grounded out.
Well, Chris Chambliss, his first night on the job, getting a look at one of his pupils. And one of the things that he will work on is Mo Vaughn getting to the ball that Ralph was talking about. Got his hands way down. We'll see if he works on that when he starts going to the ball. They're really coming from his hip. And he's been hitting, just like Jeremy Burnett's, a lot of pop-ups hitting the bottom half of the ball. A lot of hitters, when they do not generate bat speed, drop the backside. It causes that uppercut swing. They drop the backside because they want to get that bat to the ball. They can't generate enough speed to get there.
Well, Bonds had good numbers against Mendoza in his career, but not here.
Well, not many people can hit this pitch. This is a dandy right here. This is the splitter. Looks like fastball. Great movement, downward movement, and moving away from the hitter. And certainly a strike. That's a. Gotta give credit to the pitcher on that one. That was an outstanding pitch.
Mendoza's got 2 strikeouts. Ramiro Mendoza. He and Andy Pettitte share the same birthday tomorrow. Mendoza's going to be 30 years old. And Andy Pettitte celebrates the birthday tomorrow. The Yankees starter tonight. Like Piazza, a 2-0 count. Piazza has been on all 3 times, 2 singles and a walk.
Both of them will be 30. Both of them.
How about that? 2-0 delivery. And a strike taken.
Maybe we can get some of those candles up here out of the clubhouse. They're going to go on their birthday cake, keep you warm.
Man, did it get cold, huh? 2-1 delivery. And that didn't miss by much. Well, Piazza's continued his hitting against New York as he's done throughout his career. In this ball game, now has raised his season average to 286. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, 3-1. You're in the driver's seat. Chases the pitch out of the strike zone. That ball is down. I think Mike Piazza was guessing the swing on that pitch. I don't know if I'm the manager. I wanted to swing. I want to get 2 hacks at this guy. Ooh, out of the
Close. Piazza gets the walk with 2 down here in the 7th inning from Mendoza. Back
in 1999, we take a look back off of Mendoza and a monster. Do you think Mike thought it was gone? Bye-bye, they're waving it. It's on top of that tent out there that was constructed beyond the bullpen. A bushel full of them.
Well, the Mets would love to add something here in the latter innings with that 2-0 lead. Edgardo Alfonso popped out his last time up, had a bases loaded walk for an RBI in the 3rd, and drew an intentional pass in the 1st inning. He is 0 for 4 in the times he's faced Mendoza. And fouls that pitch off, quickly a 2-strike count on Edgardo Alfonso. Yankees begin a 12-game road trip with this series against the Mets. New York gets back home after their road trip where they went 4-8. They already know the Atlanta Braves come away with a win in their ball game tonight. So have the Florida Marlins, the 2 teams Mets are chasing right now. Pitch is taken outside. One ball, 2-strike count. Tarasco waiting. And he took over in right field for Burnett. 1-2. Jammed him, broke the bat. Mendoza, nice play to reach it, and gets the out. Good work by the pitcher defensively. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left on. 7 complete in the opener of the Mets Yankees Interleague Series. Mets leading
here at Shea Stadium. And we'll take a look at a Volvo defensive jam. It came in the 4th inning. Ventura had walked, and Vanderwall, a bouncer down there to move on. And a double play. Pirouette off first base and catch Robin Ventura. Terms used by hitters these days and hitting coaches. David Weathers in the bullpen for the Mets.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Jeter leading it off here in the 8th inning for the Yankees. Jammed again and fouls it back.
Jammed again, but getting closer. Did Mike Piazza see it? Did Strickland see it? It's a good at bat when you look who's coming up behind you.
Jeter brings a .320 career batting average into the season. 2-2 delivery to him. And the count goes 3-2.
And that was the slider, too. They were going back out there. Mike Piazza moved back outside. And he's trying to get the slider down and away, tried to overthrew the ball. He got the elbow down, and that ball backed up to Dereck Jeter.
This is the inning time. You got Jeter, Giambi, Williams, big part of the order up. 3-2 delivery. Jeter fought it off.
Big out right here. Well, one of the things Jeter knows, he's hitting second in this lineup. Look who he's got coming up behind him. In a 2-run ball game, you got to get on base. Foul it off. Get foul. Take a walk. Anything you can get.
Give those power hitters a chance with somebody on base. Scott Strickland for the Mets. 3-2 count on Jeter. 10 pitches in the at-bat. He walked him. What an at-bat right there for Dereck Jeter. He's on, nobody out. Don't forget, Pepsi invites you to show up at Shea on Wednesdays. Free admission to the Pepsi picnic area. 800 fans, first of you, with an empty Pepsi can or bottle will be admitted to the picnic area free. June 19. The action continues. Show up. The Minnesota Twins in town, 7:10. Bring a Pepsi. Get to Shea for free. Leadoff walk, Dereck Jeter. And now it gets interesting. Double switch coming up again. Charlie Huff coming out. Mo Vaughn will leave. Joe McEwing will play first. And Strickland will come out of the ball game with the left-hander Giambi coming to the plate. David Weathers comes out of the bullpen. We are in the 8th inning. Mets lead it 2-0. Yankees have one on.
Bobby Valentine going to the bullpen again. A workhorse down there, David Weathers. He has faced Jason Giambi once. Giambi 1 for 1 and home run.
McEwing at first base. Double switch. Mo Vaughn out of the ball game.
And you say, well, you got left-hander Bobby Jones down there in the bullpen. Why doesn't Valentine go to Bobby Jones? And I think it's strictly in this game against the Yankees, and you want experience. You want a guy that has been in the battle before enough times where the pressure does not have a factor.
So David Weathers gets the call with a runner at first base and nobody out. That's Dereck Jeter on with McEwing holding him there. Giambi a walk, strikeout, and a single. And the pitch is inside to him, 2-0. Trying to stay away from the power. Weathers coming inside. Ernie Williams, cleanup hitter on deck. Yankees trying to mount the comeback here. Get on the board. Still, they have only 3 singles. 3-0. Weathers against the White Sox on the 11th worked an inning and gave up 2 runs. Homers off him in that ball game by Chicago. 3-0 delivery and hit him. That hit him. David Weathers. It gets by McEwing. Everybody's safe. More importantly right now, is David Weathers all right?
That hit David Weathers right in the side of the head. Look at him. I'm not believing this. That ball was smoked. And it looked like it hit him right on the cheekbone. And he says, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's it. Give me the ball. He didn't even buckle.
Oh, mercy.
That's right on the side of the head. Right on. Looked like the cheekbone. Man. I'm fine. Look at him. He's back on the rubber. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. Oh. That ball bounced up. Look, you see how he's holding his cheekbone right there? Did the shoulder take the brunt of it? It didn't look like it to me.
Man. It had to have. He could not have gotten hit flush.
I don't think so.
Or he would not be.
No, it'd be broken.
Doing this.
That cheekbone would be broken. See where it is. Take a look and see if you can see a change in movement of the ball. Does the ball change direction?
Awful hard to tell.
Or maybe a glance, he got his cheek turned just enough where it was a glancing blow. Wow. That was close to as bad as that's Herb's score right there.
Yeah.
Go.
Giambi gets the hit. Williams up 2-on, nobody out. And he comes back and throws a strike. Bernie Williams grounded out, struck out, flied out. Yankees threatening here in the 8th inning. Jeter's on, he got the walk. Giambi's on, he got the single. 0-1 delivery by Weathers is foul back and a 2-strike count. Jorge Posada on deck. David Weathers asking for a new baseball. Now this is the way these are supposed to be, the Mets and Yankees. Right down to the struggle for a final out. 0-2 count. Runners off first and second, and missed inside, and Weathers turned around and went ooh.
Well, when you fool the hitter and you think you make your pitch, umpire Mark Carlson right over the top of the catcher and right on it. If it missed by a fraction.
Williams, their best road hitter, .339. Punches that one foul the other way to keep the count at a ball and 2 strikes. Two on and nobody out. Trying to get a double play of Bernie Williams is not easy. Giambi is not a fast runner at first, but Williams coming out of that left side will be tough to double up. 1-2 delivery to him up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bernie Williams. Timeout taken by Williams at the plate. Two delivery to him towards the hole. He's got a base hit. Turn coming to the plate, no play. And it's 2-1. Jeter scores. RBI Bernie Williams. His 35th run batted in.
The old term, it's a game of inches, and look at this. By a fraction does it get by Alomar. Bernie Williams kept himself alive, got a 2-2 fastball up the middle. I don't think they get 2, but they certainly get 1. An important out of the inning. If Alomar can knock that down and shovel it to second base.
2-1 ball game. Jorge Posada, still nobody out, ripped it foul. 2 fly balls to center and a walk. Switch hitter. Jeter got on with that leadoff walk. 1 charge to Strickland. Still 2-on. Mets looking for the double play in the infield. Jorge Posada takes the pitch inside. Left-handers 231 off Weathers. Right-handers 200. Missed with it, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Keep in mind the Mets do not have Grant Roberts available. He's gone on the DL. Veteran reliever not available for the Mets. Bobby Valentine. Already used Guthrie, Strickland, and Weathers, and it's 3-1.
Well, you've got Komiyama and Bobby Jones down there, and Armando, your closer.
Jorge Posada, 3-ball, 1-strike count. Mark Corey just called up the right-hander, and Armando Benitez. 3-1 pitch.
Ooh.
And he gets it to 3-2.
Oh, and a good swing too by Posada. Oh, he wants that one back. Ahead in the count, 3-1, sitting on fastball. Let her flow. Big swing. He would like to have that one back.
Stanton for the Yankees. 3-2 pitch. That one hit hard to right field. Atom ball. Tarasco. Runners get back. Jorge Posada got it. But Tony Tarasco perfectly positioned in right field. 1 down.
Well, Posada hits the ball right in the middle. And with a little bit of top spin, when that hand rolls over, the ball came right down to Tarasco and right. Well, Weathers has come in, given a line drive single to Giambi. That's Giambi trying to get back to second base, uncertain, maybe didn't pick the ball up. The single to Bernie Williams and the line drive by Posada.
Robin Ventura, 1 down. Is baseball great drama or what? The former Met stands in the 8th inning with his team down 2-1. Ventura has hit Weathers hard, 5 for 9 with a home run. Takes it outside, 1-1. Couple of walks and a fly ball out for Robin Ventura so far tonight. He has a 4-game hit streak coming into this ball game. Hits it towards first to McEwing. 1 relay. Weathers covers. Can't find the bag. Runner holds at third. Giambi. They get the force out at second base. How about Joe McEwing?
McEwing very quickly, second base, good throw to Ray Ordonez, and David Weathers simply did not get there, unable to make the tag. He said he got him. Quick release by Joe McEwing and a good throw. Did he get him going by? Ventura does not have good speed. And see if he got him. Nope, he was on the bag. Good call by the first base umpire, Wally Bell.
So the failure to get the double play will extend the inning. It will also result in another pitching change, as David Weathers is going to come out of the ball game. And Armando Benitez, the Mets closer, will come on in the 8th.
2 for 2 in the base hit column and a couple of walks.
Enrique Wilson is the pinch hitter to face Armando Benitez. There are 2 down, runners at first and third in the 8th inning. The Yankees have a run in here in the 8th. Benitez, 24th game, has had great success against the Yankees. 9 games, has allowed 1 run and 4 hits in 9 innings. Enrique Wilson, 1 hit in his last 14 at-bats. Has Giambi on at third base, Ventura at first. Wilson 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Fastball strike 0-2. Switch hitter Enrique Wilson quickly behind. The 0-2 pitch. Bobby Valentine getting his closer in here in the 8th inning. 2 away. Spencer on deck. Trying to shut this inning off right here and keep the lead. 1-2 pitch, Benitez. P.K. Wilson will foul that one off. Right-handed, he's 0 for 18. Left-handed, has gone 8 for 29. Jeter has scored the run in the inning after drawing a leadoff walk. Armando Benitez ahead on the count 1-2. Runner goes down to second base. Ventura uncontested. Trying to draw Benitez's attention as he took off.
Well, nobody paying attention to Robin Ventura, and you think about it, that's Mr. Go-Ahead run right there. I understand that.
2-ball, 2-strike count.
Armando at that 97, 98 mile per hour range. And that an off-speed pitch right there. That's a splitter or a slider, 1-2.
Rookie Wilson trying to get his timing down here after the first 2 strikes came in a hurry against him.
Why couldn't you let Ventura get to second base?
Didn't even look.
I mean, he doesn't just run well anyway. And they just gave him single. You go behind here.
The 2-2 delivery again. The first, McEwing will play it and get the out. The Yankees get on the board in the 8th inning as they get 1 run and a couple of hits. They will leave 2 on base.
Jeremy Burnett's left. That ball. Jeremy Burnett's, remember, right in the back of the head. And I'm sure they're making sure that he's okay.
Burnett's hit by a pitch. Banged into his helmet. Stayed in the game at the time and then came out in the next half inning.
Stanton is 3-0 with a 3.09 earned run average, his 31st time out of the bullpen for the Yankees. As Gary said earlier, the Yankees are without their closer for a while. Joe Torre is going to have to do without Rivera.
And the Mets are not unhappy about that.
Nope.
Be able to play and not have to face Rivera is a plus, no matter how you cut it. Have to wait here as the fan on the field will be taken care of. We don't show that anymore on television. Joe Torre. His Yankees a game and a half behind the Red Sox starting today's play, with Boston losing to Atlanta 2-1. So for either the Mets or the Yankees, gaining losing ground is already set up in front of them in light of that series being played in Atlanta with Boston there.
Pedro Martinez lost tonight. 2-1 ball game.
Atlanta has started pitching very well.
All of a sudden, the pitching organization has started to pitch again.
Tommy Glavine is right now their ace over Maddox at this point this year. Moss had a good outing the other day. Glavine leads the league in ERAs, the only pitcher under 2 at 1.53.
11-1 or something.
11 wins, yep.
It's a good Cy Young race right there. You talk about Schilling and Johnson and Glavine.
Yep. Schilling's got 12 wins and is 5th in ERA. Tony Tarasco stands in. Mike Stanton on the mound. 8th inning. Showed bunt, takes the pitch for a ball. Tarasco getting his first at bat It's coming on for Jeremy Burnitz. Joe McEwing, the on-deck batter. One-0 delivery by Stanton. Off-speed pitch again, missed down low. Carrasco turned back to home plate umpire saying, boy, I hope that's a ball because I was really fooled on that.
I can't hit it.
I can't hit it, so don't let it be a strike.
Don't call it a strike because I can't hit it.
2-0 delivery.
Carrasco came up when Mark Johnson went down to Norfolk, Virginia, the AAA ball club for the Mets. And I talked to Mark about that, and he said I needed to get some ABs anyway. I wasn't getting enough at-bats. Johnson, a good pinch hitter, good low fastball hitter, has been down in AAA. At-bats, they call them. Hitters want their ABs. They want their 3 or 4 ABs per night. See live pitching.
That'll take the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's go checking, see whether or not that bat was broken on that.
Why doesn't he ask you? You never miss one. Every time somebody breaks their bat, they say, you don't wear these funny earmuffs. That's why you can hear it.
That's right. Yeah. If you have the headset on, you can't hear it.
Can't hear a thing.
Yeah. 2-2 count. And Carrasco delivers a base hit. So the Mets leadoff man on in the 8th inning. 4 of the 8 innings, Mets have been able to get that leadoff man on.
Well, a 2-strike base hit. And the Mets, as Gary said, they have done a very good job today of getting this evening of getting that leadoff hitter on. Not getting them around too well. 2-1 ball game.
Mets have left 9 on base in the game. Joe McEwing will get his first at bat. He's gone hitless in 20 at bats. And that is the longest streak of his major league career. He'd never gone beyond 15 at bats without a hit.
Best thing in the world for Joe McEwing right now, put that hit and run on to make him shorten up his swing, go to right field, because he's very good at that. Got that new great big leg kick. And commits to the ball very early. I'm going to bunt him instead. Not swinging a good bat. Bobby Valentine says get him over with the bunt then. Now you see, Joe McEwing, when he's played, or let's say last year before he got this new batting style that he had, we've been perfect for the hit and run. Contact hitter, goes to right field, but he's gotten into such a long and big swing. A real lack of contact. That's not really the kind of player that he is. He's the kind of guy that you want to be able to put a hit and run on. It looked like he was shortening up on that pitch, or throw to first base. Left-hand pitcher, right-hand hitter. Guy goes to right field well. Perfect spot for it.
Very important potential run out there. Stanton knows that, keeping an eye on Carrasco to hold him close. There he goes. Runner goes. Hit and run. No throw. Stolen base. McEwing took the big cut on a pitch onto the strike zone to protect Carrasco. Well, the Mets have got a couple of stolen bases, as do the Yankees in this game. And that puts a runner in scoring position with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Joe McEwing. Looking for the bunt. Yankees in. It is bunted. It's popped up. And Joe McEwing will be furious at himself as Jorge Posada makes the play.
Well, Joe McEwing jabbed at the ball. Watch it. Want him jab at it. Instead of keeping the bat silent, keep it nice and silent. See him jab at the ball. And that's a no-no. That brings that bat head down when you do that. Popped it right up to Posada. Joe McEwing had that swing of last year. He would have had the hit on and not the bunt. He has a non-contact swing this year. He's averaged right down right at the 200 mark.
0 for 21 now.
Wow.
Here is Ray Ordonez. Ordonez a single. The struck out at flied out. Carrasco on at second base. Takes a strike. Mets trying to get another run in here. Their lead is 2-1. We're in the 8th inning. The Yankees will have 8, 9, and 1 due up in the 9th. Timo Perez is the on-deck batter hitting 9th. Mets have made a couple of double switches in this game. Oh, 1 pitch grounded to second. Soriano. 2 down. Carrasco goes to third base. Gary Thorne, Tom Seaver, Ralph Kiner, great to have you with us here as we open this series. So look forward to every year between the Mets and the Yankees. Timo Perez coming up now with a runner at third. Tony Tarasco. Yankees talking because there is a potential for a squeeze here. That'll bring Mel Stottlemyre out. The whole infield will come in.
There are not many games that go by that Timo Perez does not try a bunt. This is exactly what you're talking about, Gary. It's potential of a bunt in this situation.
I mean, even with 2 down, Timo Perez, if you play back, he will lay it down.
Absolutely. And he is very good at it. A lot of times he will pull that ball and try to get it by the pitcher and make the second baseman field the ball, and he's able to beat that ball out. So that was the issue that they were going over.
Timo Perez, of course, has been a very hot hitter for the New York Mets, taking that center field job through much of the road trip for New York, hitting .429 in June. Timo Perez hard to second, and that will do it. Soriano makes the play, so Tony Tarasco got the leadoff hit. He hadn't had a hit off a lefty since 1995. Let's have the 2-1 lead as we go to the 9th. Shane Spencer will lead it off. Then Marcus Thames will follow, and the top of the order, Soriano. 2-7-1 the Mets, 1-5-1 for the Yankees. Fastball there for a strike. Mets runs 3rd inning. A pass ball and a bases loaded walk off starter Andy Pettitte. Both runs charged to him. Steve Trachsel, the pitcher of record for the Mets. Andy Pettitte, pitcher of record for the Yankees. 0-2. Spencer waiting. He's gone. 1 down in the 9th. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Get the feeling, Toyota. By Bass, a taste for more since 1777. By the men and women of General Motors, whose commitment to quality brings you outstanding cars and trucks. By Newsday, because news changes every day, you need Newsday every day. And by Dodge, grab life by the horns, get somewhere Dodge. Benitez, Thames, strike 1. Benitez in a hurry, isn't he?
This is a little good morning, good afternoon, and good night, sports fans. Here it is, hit it. And you throw him in that 97, 98 range. And way out in front of that. That ball was up in the strike zone.
Marcus Thames saying, I just got in the batter's box and I'm down 0-2.
Or you face Armando Benitez, you got to protect against the fastball. Now pitch up, off-speed pitch up, missed it because you're sitting on fastball and you have to.
Got that one to left field, going towards the corner, wind blowing. Cedeno can't get it, fair ball. Ground rule double. Well, Marcus Thames delivers. Potential tying run at second base with 1 down. The Yankees have an extra base hit.
Well, that was another pitch up in the strike zone. He had just missed the high something. Either a high spin or off-speed pitch. That right in the middle of the plate. And off-speed, you can see he was out in front of the pitch. But kept his bat on that plane of the ball and able to get it right down in that corner. It's a big 2-out double. I mean, 1-out double for the Yankees. Look at the contact again. He's out in front, but that is not an Armando Benitez fastball.
The first extra base hit we've had in this game for either team. Soriano.
Wow.
Benitez upped it a little bit on that one.
If you like old-fashioned baseball and old-fashioned hardball, look at this. Here you go. That's right down Broadway. Fastball to a fastball hitter. Wow.
Soriano is 0 for 4 in the leadoff spot. Runner at second base. One down. The 0-1 delivery. Another fastball up high. 13 hits in the game. 12 of them have been singles. Thames gets the double to give the Yankees a chance here in the ninth with one away. He's at second base. Outfield fairly shallow. And Soriano, with that wind blowing in, ripping in. The 1-1 delivery. Fouled it back. He was setting dead red. It has picked up as the game's gone along, that wind is.
Boy, he's got a good looking swing, doesn't he?
He's on the ball.
Man, that ball was out of the strike zone. He was right on it.
Benitez, who is 14 out of 15 in saves, looking for another one. One down. The 1-2 delivery. Don't want to let this kid hang around the plate too long and get things timed. In the hole, Giambi. Jeter's the man on deck. One-two delivery. Good pitch at a good time right there. Soriano's been leaning out, going after that heater.
Nothing wrong with it. Move the hitter back off the plate.
Off second base. Thames, 2-2 delivery. 3-2. Jeter. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Hit in the air, deep to left center field. Wind blowing it in a bit. Cedeno. Runner tags, will not go. Soriano's retired, and there are two down.
Take a look at it. Did it have enough to get out? Right on the end of the bat. Big swing and on the end of the bat. And wind knocked it down as well. You're going to have to hit it a ton to get it out of here. 21 pitches for Benitez so far. That fastball hit out of the end of the bat by Soriano.
So now we get another classic matchup. With a potential tying run at second, here's Dereck Jeter with two down. Ninth inning. Reached on an error, singled, flied out, walked and scored the lone Yankee run. Ball one. Jeter is 0 for 7 against Armando Benitez. Trachsel waiting to see if he gets his 5th win. Andy Pettitte making just his 4th start, still the pitcher of record for the Yankees. 1-0 delivery.
Either change up with a splitter right there. 0 for 7, as Gary said. 6 of those 7 punch outs. I think, no, that's dead red, down and away.
One ball, 1 strike count. Jeter, broken bat. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Here comes Thames. No play. It's tied. Dereck Jeter, a 2-out single on a 1-1 pitch with 2 down, has tied the game and broke his bat.
Big-time players do big-time things, and that's exactly what Jeter did here. He got a pitch that he could handle. Armando left it up. And off the end of the bat, a broken bat. And if you could get a situation, if you were Joe Torre, what would you want? Jason Giambi at the plate was somebody on first base. Well, you want crosstown rivalry, big games, and you got it. This is just about as good as it gets.
33 RBIs for Jeter. Now this is where you get concerned about Benitez. Why he rarely comes on until you start the ninth inning in a save situation. If his pitch count starts to get up there at all, he gets hit. Giambi. Runner goes. Throw down by Piazza. Stolen base. 3 of them in the game for Jeter.
Jason Giambi taken all the way. And another stolen base on Mike Piazza. Big jump. And I should say Armando Benitez, a big jump. Well, Mike had a pretty decent pitch in which to throw right there. It wasn't even close at second base.
Tom Benito's so used to coming into games where all he's got to do is get the outs and base runners don't matter. He doesn't even look at base runners.
Totally ignores them.
It matters here. Giambi takes a strike, 1-1. This game is tied. We're in the ninth inning. Williams on deck. The double by Marcus Thames, the only extra base hit in the game, and Jeter drove him home with a single. Up high, 2-1. Well, Bobby Valentine had made all the moves to win this game in 9. And it's not going to happen. Unless they get it in the bottom of the inning, but he made the moves to get it done right here in 8.5, really. With double switches and bringing Benitez on in the last inning. The 2-1 delivery. And it's 3-1. Switch on Giambi in the infield moves Ray Ordonez way over behind Jeter. That cuts down on the lead for Jeter at second base. 3-1 pitch. Giambi takes it on a walk. Two on, 2 down for Bernie Williams. Off on his way to the mound.
4th time in the ballgame Giambi has been on. A couple of singles and a couple of walks. It just doesn't get it any easier in the New York Yankee lineup. One of the things about Jason Giambi, you say, well, he's got to swing the bat. Well, he's on a ball club where you've got somebody behind him who is equally as difficult to get out. And Bernie Williams, you got somebody protecting him. And then you got Bernie Williams, but you got Posada protecting Williams. I mean, they have constructed a real good lineup over there on the Yankees. It is tough. Guys
you don't want to face because with one swing of the bat, they can change the course of the ball game.
And good professional hitters. I mean, guys, a lot of experience. And they all protect each other in the lineup.
First and second occupied. Bernie Williams already has an RBI in the 8th inning, the single that brought Jeter home. Now he's got Jeter out there at second base again. But Giambi at first and 2 down. And the fastball is on the inside corner for a strike.
1998, May 19th. And Bernie Williams against Armando Benitez. A grand salami. And Armando then wearing a Baltimore uniform. Upper Deck Yankee Stadium.
6 for 8 with a home run off Benitez in his career. Broken bat bloop to right field. But Tarasco's there and puts it away. And Bernie Williams retired for the Mets. Cedeno will lead it off. Mike Stanton stays on. Stanton and Benitez, and now the pitchers of record. Trachsel 5 2/3, no runs, 3 hits, non-decision. Andy Pettitte 2 runs, 5 hits over 4, non-decision. Strickland charged with 1 of the runs. Benitez with the other, given up by the Mets. Mets have not scored since that 3rd inning when they got those 2 runs. And here is Roger Cedeno showing bunt, taking strike from Mike Stanton. 10 left on by the Mets in the game. They've caught up with them. 7 in scoring position. The 0-1 delivery. Cedeno at the breeze on that one in a 2-strike count.
What does that have movement on? Way out in front, either changeup or a splitter with great movement right at the hitting zone.
Alomar on deck. Left-hander. Slow roller, could be trouble. Ventura's got to hustle a throw. Got him! And a fine pick by Giambi, and Cedeno's out of the game. He threw his helmet and almost hit Wally Bell, the first base umpire, and Cedeno was immediately heaved. And he is obviously hot, pointing to his eyes as he points at the umpire. Now, I don't believe he intended for that helmet to go anywhere near the umpire. He just threw it out of anger.
Robin had trouble getting the ball out of his glove. A little double clutch right there. Wow, you make the call. Out. I think he was out for throwing, thrown out of the game for throwing the piece of equipment.
Boy, that's...
Wow.
He was safe.
Safe there, wasn't he?
He's on the bag.
On the bag is right. I mean, livid. This will show it right here. Safe he was. At least by that replay, Robin had trouble getting the ball, getting the handle on the ball, and actually threw a knuckleball over there.
Get the ball over there. Wally Bell the call. So Cedeno's been thrown out of the game, and that Mets bench is mighty short. And here's Roberto Alomar, who fouls it off. 1 down, 9th inning. Alomar's had an 0 for 4 in the game. And down to 268 as the Mets hitting woes continue here. They've had 7 hits, but they've all been singles. Yankees 7 hits and the 1 double that helped set up the run that tied this ball game up. 1-1 count from Stanton to Robbie Alomar. Valentin waiting on deck. It hit 3rd where the pitcher's been hitting. One ball, 1 strike count. Left-hander missed inside with it. 2-1. Steve Carsey in the bullpen for the Yankees. They just have a way of making it interesting, don't they, these two teams? 2-1 down the line, curving, fair ball. Thames gets over. Alomar trying for 2. Thames's throw is there. Didn't get him. Now Jeter's going to argue. A double for Alomar.
Alomar makes the right play here. You got to go to second base. In this situation, get the potential tying run down there, or go-ahead run, excuse me. I think he beat the glove. When he got to the bag before he got to the glove hit him. Yes, he did. That's good call by the second base umpire, Mark Hirschbeck. Good call. Did you see Robbie's eyes? Absolutely. Look at the umpire. That's a good call at second base. Take a look at it again. from center field. I think it just by a fraction beat him. And the throw from right field, and he was in there. That's a good call. That is a good call.
So the Mets get their first extra base hit. Potential winning run is on at second base. Valentin is the pinch hitter. John Valentin up. Pitches a strike. There's one down. 2-2 game in the bottom of the ninth. So can the Mets do what the Yankees did and make that first extra base hit of the ball game a run? Valentin with 12 RBIs will back out. Stanton staring in. That's why you have umpires.
Roberto is pointing to the bag too. Both of them making their play to the umpire. Would you want it any other way?
No. There's a real close-up here. We've looked at it, what, 8 times already? Still not sure. Hirschbeck got one look and no slow-mo. Valentin takes it down low, 1-1. Pinch hitting. Home run, 3 RBIs. Fine average. Valentin just 176 off left-handers. Stanton into him, and it's inside. Two and one. Ball players, like in this game, as fans. Valentin in his first at bat in the game. 2 ball 1 strike count to him with 1 away. Stanton in, slow roller. Ventura, runner stays at second. Runner goes to third, no throw back. So Alomar moves up. There are 2 down. It's good base running by Alomar. Gives him his run, doesn't matter if he's walked.
Yep, you set up force play at second base potentially. Now think about that, the ball in the hole that could be turned into a force play at second with a runner on first where you couldn't get the runner from home plate. Just little bitty things that could happen. The biggest issue, don't let Mike Piazza beat you.
Alomar at third will keep a close eye just in case. Ventura's holding him tight to the bag. Should one get away here, which is not unheard of. Garce, ball 2. See Ventura right there in the bag with him. Jorge Posada takes the third pitch from Garce and Piazza.
You can't bring another man in to back up the catcher.
No.
It's against the rules as they are read today.
They used to, and that's why the rule got changed.
You only have 1 man in foul territory. That's all you're permitted. I suppose you could put him any place you wanted, but you still
hang him along the lines, I guess.
Yeah.
So Piazza's on, but now the best hitter with runners in scoring position on the Mets and 5th in the league, Edgardo Alfonzo, will face Garce. Roberto Alomar, the run that matters. Piazza will watch. Game is tied at 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees came back in the top of the 9th inning to get it tied up on the Jeter single after Marcus Thames had doubled. Alfonzo has an RBI with a bases loaded walk. 0 for 2 and another intentional pass tonight. Steve Garce for the Yankees with 2 down. And Alfonzo takes the strike. Alomar keeping an eye on Ventura with Garce working out of the stretch here. making sure not to get too far off that bag. The 0-1 delivery. And a 2-strike count on Edgardo Alfonso. Stanton watching. He's responsible for Alomar, the base runner. What a beginning for the weekend series. 0-2 count. Alfonso, blooper, and we go extra. Jeter hauled it in. The Mets no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base, 9 complete. Yankees and Mets 2-2. Some 55,000 announced attendance. Valentin stays in the ball game at first. McEwing had been there in place of Vaughn. Joe McEwing moves out to left field. And Satoru Komiyama is the pitcher for the Mets going to the 10th inning. 6 pitchers used and a scorecard with lots of players having made an appearance in game 1 of this Mets Yankees series. You got the backup catcher Wilson and Corey and Jones, a right-hander and a left-hander in the bullpen.
And that's it.
That's it. No more.
You're in there, boys. Go get them.
We go to the top of the 10th inning. The Yankees are 1-2 in extra inning ball games. The Mets have won 3 and lost 4. And these two teams played in the 2000 Subway Series. Every game was decided by 1 or 2 runs. Only the second World Series in history in which each game ended up in that manner. You had to go back to 1915 Philly Red Sox series for one that didn't have a 3-run differential in it. We start this series with an extra inning ball game. Komiyama's delivery is a breaking ball. Jorge Posada will lead it off. He's had an 0 for 3 and a walk. Mets are 3-3 against the American League, 2-1 against Cleveland, 1-2 against Chicago. Jorge Posada to center field. Timo Perez flying. Can't get it. It'll roll to the wall. Jorge Posada will stop with a leadoff double. And he had to hit that ball hard because it was right into the teeth of the wind.
Right into the teeth of the wind, Gary, and actually the wind helped him because it pushed the ball away from Timo Perez in center. The ball was slicing away from Timo, and then even more when it got into the wind, and just by a couple of inches got by Perez. Looked like a fastball up and out over the plate. And a leadoff double.
19 of them on the year for the Yankee catcher. The drama continues. Robin Ventura gets another chance. Ventura came up in the 8th inning with an opportunity to put the Yankees up, hit into a fielder's choice. Now he's got Posada on at second base. Each team has 8 hits in the ball game now. Komiyama. Mets were playing bunt. Alfonso had moved in at third. Nobody's on deck as they make a decision who's going to hit. Technically, somebody's supposed to be out there. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Robin Ventura, towering fly ball to right field. Timo Perez back at the wall. Goodbye home run. Do you believe theater of baseball? Robin Ventura with a 2-run homer. And the Yankees lead 4-2. .16 home runs on the season. RBIs 43 and 44. Foul back by Steve Trachsel, the pitcher.
Got it up in the wind and hit it out of here, right through the teeth of it. A little fastball down and out of the plate, and so many times we saw Robin Ventura know when it's gone. He knew it was gone there. And in a game when nobody could hit the ball out of here, Robin got it right into that scoreboard. That huge scoreboard in right field and right through whatever wind was up there. Look at Zim over there telling him how he used to do it. You believe that? He had a chance before, didn't do it, and now did it. You're exactly right.
Trachsel strikes out.
Well, you want a good swing? Look at Robin Ventura. Yep, he may not have the big average. Hitting under 250, but he can get you some timely base hits. He's having a good year for the Yankees.
Komiyama to Shane Spencer. And a strike. 4-2. Yankees lead it. Top of the 10th inning. Mets will have Tarasco, the pitcher. Timo Perez due up in the bottom half. Robin Ventura, 21 home runs last year with the Mets. Has 16 already with the Yankees. And that one hit towards the gap. And hauled in. Beautiful catch made by Joe McEwing. He is amazing. He's played first base with a couple of fine plays, goes to left and does this.
He is able to play everywhere. Fastball right down Broadway. And Joe Mack, Mr. Utility, Super Joe. There might not be anybody in this ballpark that enjoys this series more than Joe McEwing, as much as he loves baseball. Yankees, Mets, we'll remember it forever. What a play in left field.
Marcus Thames, 25-year-old, fouls that one off. He's played an important part in this game. Came on in the 9th inning and delivered a double. Scored on the Dereck Jeter RBI single that tied the game up in the 9th. And now Ventura's had the home run to put the Yankees ahead here in the 10th. Played Double-A ball last year where he hit .321. Now finds himself here at the major league level. Takes the pitch down low. Thames called up on Monday from AAA Columbus where he was playing. He was hitting just .216 there with 6 home runs. Bloops that one for a base hit. Well, he's got 2 hits in the game. Yankees keep it going in the 10th.
The other impact of this, Gary, is these two teams are right back out here tomorrow. And both of them deep in the bullpen. Afternoon game here at Shea Stadium. And Charlie Hoff on his way to the mound to talk to his pitcher and has already gone to the bullpen.
So not a good outing for Komiyama. Leadoff double by Jorge Posada. 2-run homer by Robin Ventura. And now a single by Thames. And the Mets will go to the bullpen for their 7th pitcher, Ventura. The blast of Komiyama to put the Yankees up. He is 27 years old. Came up with Grant Roberts going on the DL with Norfolk. 6 saves. And that 1.17 ERA. He was with the Mets from May 13th through the 24th. And now Corey back again. He worked only 2 games for the Mets last year. First time he'd been to the big leagues. 2 down. Soriano, runner goes. Hit in the air to right field and deep. Trachsel back with room will haul it in. So Corey delivers one pitch. Soriano will try and battle back in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Trachsel, McEwing, Ordonez. Carsey staves on, a chance to win the ball game for the Yankees. And a strike on the inside corner.
Well, it's worked out just about right for Joe Torre, isn't it? Got his closer in. Mariano Rivera is out, the normal closer, and Carsey has become the closer.
Oh, 1 delivery. Trachsel not going to get that one. A single and his only at bat in this game.
And that's a splitter. You can see it going right down at the hitting zone, right out in front of home plate.
2-strike count on Tony Trachsel. The Mets have lost 2 in a row. Without a comeback here, we'll lose another game on Atlanta. 1 down in the 10th.
Well, he throws a fastball right by Trachsel, right down Broadway. And the middle 90 range. Mets have lost 7 and 10. And long road trip really took some wind out of their sails. That was a long space of time they were on the road and away from home.
And the bats, Tom, are still very quiet.
Very silent.
I mean, the 2 runs in this game are on a bases-loaded walk and a pass ball. Well, the Yankees using what they have all year to score runs, the homer. The Mets have not lost a ball game where they led after 8. 28-0 with a lead after 8 innings. They had a lead after 8 innings in this game. Fastball strike to Joe McEwing, who has popped out in an at-bat.
And again, another fastball. McEwing waiting for a strike. They need a base runner, so in that situation, he's going to take a strike.
1-1 delivery, popped up, shallow right center. That's in the Bermuda Triangle, but it will be caught. It stayed up. James was there to get it. 2 down. A long opening game as we approach midnight. And for the Mets, one more chance to keep it going. Ray Ordonez. He has singled in 4 at-bats in the game. Tomiyama, the pitcher of record for the Mets. Carsey for the Yankees, who win it. 1-2-3, 10th inning. Jeter puts it away, and the Yankees a comeback 4-2 win. And I mean a very disappointing loss for the Mets.
Well, the Mets that don't hit and have not hit very much this season, and they get within an out and cannot get it. Dereck Jeter, the big base hit, and Mike Piazza and his crew